and Entrepreneurship Club of IIM Raipur welcome you all to the final round of Pitch Perfect. Heartiest congratulations to all the participants for making it to the top 8. For evaluating the ideas and presentation, we have with us Mr. Jagruk Dara, Associate Professor at IIM Raipur. He is associated with IIM Raipur for the past 7+ years. We are grateful to have you, sir. Next up, we have Mr. Kevin Desai. He is the founder and managing partner at Marketing and Beyond. He has industry experience of more than 5 years working with some of the top firms like Flipkart. He has also worked with PwC as a senior consultant. He is an alumnus of IIM Raipur, and we are happy to have you, sir. The third judge for the event is Mr. Durga Prasad Gowda. He is an incubation manager at AIC Nalanda Institute of Technology Foundation and is also an assistant professor there. We are happy to have you, sir. For the students and judges, I'll repeat some of the common rules before starting the event. The students will have 8 minutes prior to present the PPT, followed by 8 minutes of Q&A. You'll be given 2 reminders. One is at 5 minutes and the other is at the 7 minutes. Now, I would like the first team to take up on the stage.
Yes, so Team Uncharted, are you ready?
Yeah, we're here.
Go ahead.
Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Can we start?
Yes, go ahead.
Good morning, one and everyone present here. So we are Team Uncharted, and we are here with our idea, which focuses on agriculture. And to start with, we have grown up hearing that agriculture in India is such an important sector, and more than 50% of Indians are employed to agriculture, and more than 70% of Indians live in villages still. So let's understand this a little deeper. So when India got independence, the contribution to employment of agriculture was 75%, although it has decreased to 56% in the 2011 general survey. But the decrease has not, it is still one of the majority employment areas of avenues of employment avenue. Now, if you talk about its sectoral contribution to GDP, it has decreased drastically from being at around 55% in during the time of independence to being at a mere 22% in the 2011 general survey, which tells you one thing, that still a lot of people are, still a lot of people are involved in agriculture, the income levels have dropped. And if we look at actual growth rate data of the total income of farm households, it has been negative in some states. And the reason has mostly been because of the low average operational land holding. This basically means that there are small farmers. If you consider West Bengal, where 90% of the land is owned by small farmers, the growth rate of farm income in farm households is minus 5.01%. Now, if you look at recent examples of China and Vietnam, we see that their growth in agriculture has been the precursors to their development in other industry and services. This whole unorganized sector and the high dependency on rice cultivation in India has resulted in exploitation of this industry, and that is our problem statement, which also includes shadow employment. And our approach to solve this is through an alternate value chain that we are trying to establish. And to do this, we have actually conducted feasibility studies by selecting optimal value addition invention for each step of the byproducts by doing field visits. In 2016-17, I was part of a pilot project, and my idea here is to expand it and scale it.
Kumair is an island consisting of a cluster of villages in a remote region of Sundarbans, the southern coastal part of West Bengal. The Sundarbans form the largest mangrove forests in the world. Now, coming on to the demographics, it has a population of about 22,000 with around 4,000 huts. The income ranges from a meager allowance of rupees 1,000 to 20,000, with the model income being rupees 4,000 to 5,000. Now, the major occupations are school teacher, honey collector, fisherman, local vendor, farming, poultry farming, and we can see from the occupational distribution that a very small percentage of women are laborers. Kumail Mari had been in the path of cyclones this decade. Cyclones namely Alia, Amphan, Fani, etc., which led to the loss of human lives and salt water entering the paddy fields, rendering it unfit for the cultivation. The key problems in the village are that it lacks basic facilities, like it is bereft of electricity, rural toilets, or medical facilities. The economy is weak because of less revenues and no alternate sources of income.
Yes. Okay. So coming to the solution. So we have come up with 3 strategies, which I'll be talking a little bit more about in the coming slides. So our solution actually tries to augment the rural employment by utilizing an alternate value chain of rice cultivation and its byproducts through a multi-tier cooperative model run primarily by women. As we have seen that most of the population on the island are women, because the men left the island due to the unforeseen events. So how do we incorporate rice paddy, which is produced in such mass quantity, and women? How do we incorporate all of them and come up with a business model that can benefit everyone? So our innovation lies in the integrated approach, which ensures efficiency through operations at optimum volumes, leveraging the different cooperative levels, basically. So the rural female work participation rates in West Bengal is actually one of the least in India. It's at a meager 25%, as opposed to Bengal as a state itself, which has been quite progressive since independence and even before. So coming to our first solution, we are going to be talking about Husk energy system. So Husk energy system is actually a model that has been implemented by this organization called Husk Power Systems, which is an Orlando-based startup in the US, and they work with villages and basically areas which have very low power grid. So how do we come up with hybrid technologies to generate electricity in such places? So we use a rice husk. So rice husk is very important. Is a very important byproduct of rice, and it contains about 30 to 50% of organic carbon, and it has very high heat value. So we set up a decentralized system of a biomass gasifier connected to an electric generator at a village level, and this is actually a proven technology, as I said. So it comes with 4 steps, where you do the procurement of rice husks, then you have the gasification, where you store the byproduct in a biomass gasifier, and then there's generation of electricity, because we generate it through like burning the rice husk, and then there's the transmission through the rest of the village. This actually has a couple of unseen advantages and also quite direct advantages. One is obviously there is because of poor electricity in the area, we get more dependable electricity. Secondly, actually there's also some level of women empowerment to this, because usage of like old techniques like chulha burning and everything produces a lot of harmful gases. And the smoke generated from these cooking stoves actually is similar to the result that you would get from smoking about 7 cigarettes per day. So the cooking times are thus reduced by about 50%, which is giving women more productive pursuits. We are using a clean burning fuel as well, which reduces the occurrence of cardiovascular diseases. Also, the byproduct of this, which is char, can also be used as fertilizers and it could be used as fertilizer as well as in incense sticks as well. And the briquettes of rice husks are then also used for in cooking stoves to decrease smoke production as well. Coming to our second strategy, it's the fish cum paddy integrated cultivation. This is actually quite common in Southeast Asia, and it has been there for about 1500 years. Unfortunately, in India, this has a this has got.
Your time is up. You can wind up your presentation.
Okay. All right. Sorry, we'll be really quick. Sorry. So yeah, so this is about this increases rice yield by about 5 to 15%, and there's organic fertilization because of fish excrement, and so that you're also you're also decreasing the use of harmful chemicals like fertilizers. Because fish and paddy both are then produced, and then it also increases the nutrition values of farmers. Coming to the third one, which is the oyster mushroom cultivation. Oyster mushrooms are very rich in protein, and they're an untapped market in India. It has there's a huge market gap which we can try to fill through our business model. And the West Bengal is actually quite conducive for the growth of oyster mushrooms, and it is grown in that area. So we can create curated zones where we can grow oyster mushrooms and cultivate them. We can grow up to 5 to 6. We can grow it in 5 to 6 cycles per year, and there is a high yield value for this as well.
These are some of the basic figures that we have come up to by calculating number of employment that we will be able to generate in every cooperative. These will be cooperatively run employment programs.
Okay, team, you have to stop now. You have exceeded 1 minute.
Okay, so do you expect us to ask questions now? I mean, how does it go?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, so Kevin and who else was the judge? Durgaji. Yeah, go ahead, please.
Trying to solve is really relevant and pertinent. My question is on scalability, on how do you size the market in terms of where all each of your solutions is applicable?
So I'll take that, sir. So for example, if we talk about the third solution that we provided, which was on the mushroom cultivation, so that can be applicable to states like West Bengal, Odisha, Jharkhand, where the environment is conducive and the farmers are small, which can do better with a little bit of extra income. And similarly, all the other three solutions also fall into some or the other criteria where the growth rate in their farm incomes have been negative in the recent years. So that is our target market.
Yes, also like paddy cultivation is rice is actually the most produced crop in India, and most of Northeast and West Bengal has lowland rice cultivation. So there's a lot of flooding that happens. So we can integrate the whole concept of paddy cum fish cultivation, also because fish forms a part of their natural diet as well in that zone. And also talking about mushroom, it's not just limited to the East Coast. We quite surprisingly, even in Maharashtra, there's a lot of oyster production which we are not aware of. And if you go into the villages, you will see that people are producing oyster mushrooms in their homes, but not at a large scale. So there's scalability here, like in all three strategies of ours.
Okay. Thank you.
So hi team. My question would on the innovation front as well as the implementation front. So how do you see that? What kind of labor input and what kind of employment generation coming out of this?
Yes. So
we'll just share the screen once. We'll show that table that we had created for the employee generation.
Yeah. So sorry. So if we talk about employment generation, so as you asked, so there will be multiple levels of each ecosystem that we will build. For example, if we just talk about mushroom, so there are 4 steps involved, and we have actually estimated this through giving guesstimate labor hours and amount of people required, and we have also highlighted the number of women that will be involved in this. So the levels are village level, cluster level, block level, and district level. And for example, the remuneration will be around 12,000 to 25,000, and this will provide them with a sustainable income. And for example, if we talk about mushroom, so at a village level we have 4 steps and 40 women for them, and at a cluster level we have two major operations, that is processing of mushrooms and then packaging. At block level we'll have to have people for distribution and storage, and at district level we'll have to have for marketing and administration major. So this is our basic logic of or of employment generation.
But are you saying that the current existent skill or the training that is available with the farmers or with the population there will cater to your plan, or do you think that there will be requirement of any upscale?
Yes,
So
sir. There is a market gap. So there is a market gap definitely when it comes to mushroom cultivation specifically, because as I spoke, so less than about 0.1% of India is utilizing its areas for fish cum paddy or even for mushroom like cultivation, oyster mushroom typically. So it has a scope of export, because a lot of Southeast Asia and like East Asia uses oyster mushrooms in their natural diet. So we have scope for growth here. We just need to connect the farmers, so mostly women who are there, to the direct districts. So we are right now specifically talking about the Sundarbans Delta, but we will eventually spread it across the regions of lowland, agricultural farmlands, where we can incorporate more women into this, into our business model.
But I see a serious gap where you see about the procurement or the consumption side also, because the geography that you are speaking about currently with the data that you have presented, what I find is key. It will require a lot many other assumptions and risk analysis to be taken care of. Anyways, a wonderful attempt. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So can I answer your consumption question, if I may?
Yeah, sure.
So this is actually a chain of events that can happen, that we have actually assumed, and this is one of our major assumptions, that when we we'll actually be increasing the consumption in rural households, as these people and the other shareholders of this cooperative will have a higher income than they were having till then, and it will be above par. And this increase in employment due to increase in the consumption will be a significant but it will be a cycle, consumption and employment, and that will increase more each other more and more.
So as I said, talking about mushroom cultivation, there are parts of Maharashtra that do mushroom cultivation, and they don't just cultivate mushroom, but they also consume it in those regions. So it works in both ways, like for the farmers and for employment, and as well as consumption.
Okay, so I have two questions. The first is about the mushroom cultivation. It's not just Maharashtra and maybe the eastern part of the country where mushroom cultivation happens. In fact, incidentally, just about 2.5 kilometers away from IIM Raipur's campus, there's a huge mushroom farm owned by an IS couple. I mean, so they left their job and they've actually gotten into this venture full time, and they do grow oyster mushrooms as well as the normal button mushrooms. The oyster mushroom has a problem, and that problem is that it has still not made inroads into the Indian diet. The Indian pellet kind of has still not accepted it, right? So I do see a huge market for normal button mushroom, but not so much for the oyster mushroom. Why are you fixed upon growing just oyster mushrooms? Do you have some figures where you can convince us that not button mushrooms but oyster mushrooms is the way to go?
So we don't have figures in this in this presentation exactly, but we did see figures from the government documents that we have of First of all, it has high nutritional value for oyster mushrooms. But as I spoke, we need to connect. We have a lot of organizations in India nowadays, like a lot of startups, agribusiness startups, who are working directly with farmers and then procuring their products and then selling it to big game players, like your FMCG players. Or
I think you're catching hold of the wrong end of the stick. So I mean, the consumption is going to be driven by consumers, not by suppliers, not by government reports.
yeah, so
Right.
that's exactly what I was getting to. So there's scope of export a lot at this point of time towards East Asia and Southeast Asia. As I said, a lot of their and even China, a lot of their consumption is of oyster mushrooms as well. So there's
Also, so in B2B as well, like this can also be directly supplied to restaurants who are like who make mushroom dishes, and there are also
I mean,
mushroom based
okay,
products.
since we're running short of time, as an entrepreneur, I would have expected you to be upbeat about the fact that it's not been explored by, I mean, by Indian
So
consumers, and maybe you will have some strategy ready to uh, bring it into the normal routine of Indian consumers. See, button mushrooms are also new to us. It's just about 20 years old. In 20 years, we have kind of accepted button mushrooms. Maybe you could do the same with oyster mushrooms. That way, you will be able to expand the market just instead of just relying on exports. My second question is with regards to the rice husk. I see a big problem in the collection of rice husk, right? And that's going to be quite a costly affair. How do you uh, how do you justify? I mean, currently rice husk is kind of thrown away, right? It's not it's garbage for a farmer. How will you convince a farmer to not throw away but rather sell it to you and collect? Setting up a network of collection is going to be very, very costly.
Sir, that is the exact problem that we also saw initially when we were thinking of this idea. And that is the major reason why we are not trying to establish this whole idea as a private limited company. The idea is to set up small cooperatives and self-help groups, which will be doing that and will be sustaining themselves. And that is so when we set up cooperatives, they are basically working for themselves, and the farmer community will use their assets, and in this case the asset is still like till today it's not being used. So that is why we believe that that problem can be solved through
so there's
the
So can I answer this question? So actually, like we have taken some assumptions and we have taken some factors and assumptions to calculate this. So the total land available for cultivation is around 328 hectares, and it gives us a total production of
No,
about
no, I think you're missing the point. So I'll give you a parallel example from Punjab, right? So Punjab, there's a annual problem of burning of wheat husk, right, which causes pollution and this thing, right? Now the government there has done a lot in order to prevent burning of husk and rather asking the farmers to collect it and right and the strategies range from giving them rewards, monetary rewards, to even punishments, fines for burning husk, right? But the farmer says, why should I take the pains of hiring a tractor and putting husk in it and sending it to government collection agencies, where while uh, my solution is very simple. I have a 10 paisa worth of a matchstick. I light it up and I put it on the husk. It burns and it solves my problem. I don't have to send it. I don't have to take any of those headaches, right? So I think the biggest challenge in this first this thing, please think about it. I'm leaving you at that note. uh, the biggest problem in this rice husk business of yours is going to be a costly affair of collecting and motivating farmers to keep that rice husk and sell it to you,
so
right?
So to
Yeah.
answer to answer that, actually, so when we talk about Husk Power System, that is actually an organization. That's a startup based in Orlando that does work in like in East Asia, Southeast Asia, and like parts of Africa as well. So they provide end-to-end solutions for this. So they help you set up this biomass gasifier, and they do the procurement from from the rice cultivators. So when they're cultivating rice, so we understood that there's huge amounts of wastage that is produced, and we wanted to our strategies were actually in and around paddy only. So for example, like rice straws are then used for oyster cultivation, and then rice husks will then be used for this biomass gasifiers. So there's a high initial fixed cost, which will be and plus there's something that we discussed amongst ourselves, that we have seen there's a long tradition in India of self-help groups and women cooperatives actually initiating movements within our within districts and within villages and within block levels. So we can use the power of women in self-help groups and in cooperatives.
Atal, I agree to what you're saying. So assume that, okay, let me, if the organizers don't mind, I'll just finish in 30 seconds, right? So assume that I am one of those farmers, right? I grow paddy, right? And after processing of paddy, I get rice, I separate rice husk, right? Now convince me, tell me, why should I take the pains of collecting this and sending it to a self-help group or sending it to you? Why should I do it?
So currently, if you just imagine a little further, currently in your house there's max to max 1 to 2 hours of electricity, and now I tell you that you'll probably get 1 hour or half an hour or 2 hours of extra electricity if you just give me your house. That is how this whole thing will operate. And suppose you have a 60 or 68-year-old, someone who works in the kitchen, or a 7 8 year old kid who wants to study, and you will say that, okay, if I get 1.5 or 2 hours of extra electricity, then why not? I'm just giving away my wastage. So probably because of that reason, you'll take the pain and
Do they really have in those parts of the country? Do they really have just 1.5 hours of electricity?
So talking about this particular island and subsequent islands
Okay.
near it, they
Fair
they
enough.
have
Fair enough. That's a good enough selling point, right? In Punjab, I know about Punjab, so Punjab, that's not a problem. Anyways,
in
okay.
Punjab, that's not a problem, sir. Yes,
Yeah,
true.
yeah. So okay, let's thank you so much.
Thank you, judges.
Welcome, sir.
Thank you,
Thank you,
CEC.
judges.
Yeah, thank you, Team Uncharted. So next we have Team Caps to present. Team Caps, are you ready?
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, please start your presentation.
Good morning, respected judges and my fellow competitors present here. We are Team Captivators from KJ Somaya Institute of Management, Mumbai. And we present to you Beautify Me, the ultimate skincare solution for all your beauty needs. So introducing myself, my name is Kunal Mehrotra. I belong to the city of Nawabs, Lucknow, and I am an engineer by profession. And I'm also the operations and marketing specialist for the team. And over to Yash.
Yeah, so I handle the marketing section and analytics part. Like a brief introduction about me, I have currently having 3 years of work ex in Tata Click. I used to handle the beauty sector and the beauty products analytics there. So there, this product actually born, this Beautify Me, the ultimate skincare solution. Yeah. Yuti?
My name is Dyuti Talati, and I come from the state of business, Gujarat. And from my business family, my father had a home appliance business which focuses on females section, and also I have worked in some direct marketing companies which focus on the feminine products. So here is a business idea.
Next slide. Yeah, thank you. So I'll be talking about the executive summary of what our business model should be. So how the business model of assisted skincare should be scaled up. So scaling up the assisted skincare model calls for comprehensive understanding of key stakeholders in the business and devising strategies to holistically integrate them in the business model. Now, what this means is to basically increase the number of beauty advisors and segment them. So we have on-demand beauty advisors, we have expert beauty advisors, and we have stationed beauty advisors at retail stores. So basically guiding people on the concept of how and what beauty is and how it suits on a specific person or on one's personality type. So how should the derma conversation on Beautify Me be driven amongst consumers? So we have two ways for doing that. We have, first of all, on-ground activation, and the second is online activation. So in on ground, we have the setting up of smart derma stores, gifting a new skin campaign, arresting the cause of skin cancer through sessions held by eminent dermatologists, and Navya Nikhar, which is our entry strategy for tier 2 cities. So in that way, we are not only focusing on the major tier 1 cities, but also on the tier 2 cities. Now, next comes up on the online activation part, which is the My Derma story, which is the propagation of skin wellness regime testimonials and Ask the Expert series to Facebook Live and YouTube channel activations, basically to keep the audience and our potential customers engaged. And how should the portfolio evolve? So first up, we have the anti-acne kit. Then we have the sunlight and UV defense SPF 50. Then we have the eye cream, which is a wrinkle reducer. And then finally, we have the lip cream stick. So we can see the timeline as it goes. We are starting from January 2021 and we are going up till July 2022. So, and we also have a travel pack, a face pack, and an eye serum coming up. Now over to Yash.
Okay, so coming to the basic idea of the product, like the product portfolios, and the basic idea is that like in this particular industry, one industry caters to the needs and demands of the consumer from the technical side. Like if someone is having skin problems and there are dermatologists, there are skin specialists, there are like people who like there are people who are facing, these are the pain points, these are the problems which people are facing, and there are in the products what we see, there are paraben, there are arsenic, these are the harmful chemicals which are present in 85% of the product. According to McKinsey, one report is published, and according to that, 85% of the products contains these harmful chemicals which can harm the pores of the skin, since human skin and the facial skin is different from the other skin. So this is a very sensitive area, and in this particular block, we have to cater the two needs. The first, the problems consumers are facing, and at the same time, the right product at the right price. So these are the two strategies what we are coming across to beautify, and at the same time, with the Ayurvedic range of product. Apart from that, the scaling what we will be looking at is that the different varieties of product, and our hero product will be the dermatologist section, where we will be giving the right care to each and every consumers. Looking at the sauce stack model what we have made, so we will be like taking the current scenario. We will conducted a primary research on 102 consumers out there, and what brands they are using, and what is the reason behind why they're using this particular brand. So we will be making the tie-ups, and the sauce stack model will be continuing in the later slides too. So these are the situation what we have analyzed. Apart from that, the strategy will be coming up with umbrella campaigns, the steps to glory, where glory to story. This is the campaign what will be running ahead in the coming down the years, where each consumer can tell their pain points and where we can cater in the best possible way. We can connect consumers with the dermatologist, and we can sell their products in the meantime. So these are the strategies. And if I talk about the controllables, so these are our controllables, and we will be looking up to in the further slides too. Yeah. Next slide, please.
Now, as Yash said, we have done a primary research on 102 female customers in the age group of 22 plus. So we have considered factors, both the qualitative and quantitative, like which brand products the people use, from how many years they use, what do they think they require, what do they see in the product. So we have found out that 68% consumers follow sporadic skincare routine, purchasing between 2 to 8 weeks. And the factors which are encouraging them to purchase, the number one is quality. They always see the quality, and the price comes later. And 59% consumers prefer online channels rather than offline channels. And they also get influenced by the influencers on social media platforms. Some other insights are the premium features is they look for the skin nourishment, and then they feel confident about that. Some females consider the social statement, then benefits, and they do not see the ingredients. That is the last thing. They focus on the results, how it results on their skin. And we can see what influences them. That is, majority we can see beauty advisors. People go to beauty advisors and trust them the most, and they also get influenced by family members, their spouse, and doctors. We have researched the regions. So like in North region, most cities are pollution oriented, so women are looking for similar kind of product. In East, the purchasing power is increasing more, so they focus on good brands like Wow Skincare and Mama Earth. And in South region, the demand for UV protected sunscreens is in more demand because of the high temperature. And in West, the need for premiumization is emerging. Also, we have done secondary research with the source Euromonitor, where we can see the data from 2011 to 2020, where people purchasing the acne cream, anti-aging cream, and sunscreen. And the most we can see is in anti-aging creams. And we have searched the UV index in different cities and the relevance of skin conditions in dermatology practice. So, next.
So as of now, we have discussed the ethnographic, the demographic, the different, as per the different regions, our strategy will differ. Suppose in a mall, if we are placing a customer, like salesperson, and his job is to sell a product in 10 minutes.
Team, your time is up. Your time is up. You please wind your presentation.
Yes, we'll be doing that. So these are the statistics what we have come across, and these are the strategy, that is the 7-0 framework what we have made, and the social media presence of each and every brand. So the bottom line is that in present era after COVID, now people are accepting the different brands like Mamaearth, Wow Skincare. These are not the the traditional products. These are the newcomers. So this is the model what you're following. And lastly, if I talk about the different channels, and this is the 4E strategies, like how we're going to extend, educate is our main goal, because if people are not aware about the product, and we are going to extend the number of channels, like with the hybrid model, online and offline both, and enticing the customers. Yeah, next slide, please. So these are the promotion strategies what we have come across. Like we will be doing a 360-degree, we'll be catering to all the needs, and with the basic idea of expert with the product and expert can guide. These are the financial plans what we have studied across, and what is our 5 years back, after 5 years aspirational. We want to make our product aspirational. Yeah.
Team, your time is up.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, PPT is also up. Thank you.
So it was difficult to explain a business idea in such a limited time.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Judges, the stage is open for Q&A.
Go ahead, Kevin. Kevin, I think there's something wrong with your mic. We can't hear you.
Yeah, no.
No, your voice is cracking. Kevin, you can maybe type in your question in the chat box. In the meantime, Durgaji, if you want to ask something.
Sir, hello, sir. So Durga sir has got some important calls. He will be back in.
Acha. Okay, so let me start. So see, my concern is you have a product which falls under the FMCG bracket. I want to look at your costs. What are the cost? What are the costs for marketing and advertising that you have put for yourself? So where are the marketing costs?
Yeah, so we can see in the bottom right corner, we are running some campaigns like My Derma Story, video release on role models, and etc. So
No, I can't read any of it. See, please
zoom in a little bit more.
Yes, zoom it. Never make the slide so cluttered. I mean, yeah.
So, yeah, I will start, and Yuti, you can continue from that. So basically, for deciding the price, what team caps, what we think is like price something. It's always about the right price, not the lower side, not the higher price, but customer should understand that this is the right price, and this is price game.
I would disagree with that. I'm a pricing faculty, so I would definitely disagree. But that's besides the point. Whatever price you keep is fine. I'm interested in what are the marketing costs that you've kept.
Okay, so yeah, you can the bifurcate the different price in marketing.
Yeah. So there is a video release of role models. So the cost we are paying to the role models is 50,000 per unit, and we have the projection of financial year 2022 and 2021, and then
So,
My Derma. Yeah.
How much is that? 3 lakhs, 50,000.
Yeah, per unit is 50,000, and the total cost will be 3 lakhs.
So 3 lakhs is what you will give to the role model for endorsing your product.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And I mean, after creating the video, what will you do with the video?
Yeah, we'll be promoting it through different channels like on YouTube. We can see many ads on YouTube, and people are getting hammered with
That
that.
costs money, right? That costs money. Where is that cost?
Yeah,
That's
that
not
will be
free of
also a
cost.
plus cost, but also we can do it organically, like posting on our
No,
channel
that doesn't
and
work.
on
That
social
doesn't work.
media. Yeah,
That doesn't work.
that paid campaigns are necessary. That also we have to do. Yeah, that cost is not there in this table. Yeah.
Sir, organic
So
marketing is for
that's
the
a
initial
big
phase.
miss. That's a big miss. Carrying an ad, creating an ad. First of all, it is not this cheap, right? Anyways, I don't think anybody, any endorser will come. Role models means an endorser, right? Any endorser worth his or her salt will do it
We'll
for
focus
so
on
cheap.
micro influencers, not the big celebrities, because
Fair
today
enough.
is
Micro influencers, yes, you can create a micro influencer cost ad with this thing, but
yeah,
after creating, you have to put it on some platform, some television program or some YouTube. I mean, even if you use social media, that doesn't come in free, right?
Yes,
Social
sir.
media companies earn out of advertising. They'll charge you money, so that is missing over here. What
Yes,
is this My Derma story?
So that is a campaign. Yes, can you
And just
explain it?
25,000 rupees per
Yes,
unit.
sir. So actually, this is a hybrid model design. What we have thought for My Dharma story, where we'll be looking at the online channel and the offline channel. Like if we are going to malls and we are asking customer their pain point, and at the same time if we can sell our idea, sell our concept there. This is the 25,000 is the cost for that. Like for hybrid model, like this different cities what we were catering, and in online we'll be only focusing on those
So no, I didn't
low
understand.
budget.
So no, 1 minute. So My Derma story, somebody will go to a mall and do what?
So they
We'll
will
interview
ask you go ahead.
Yeah, we'll interview the customer,
You
and
will
that,
interview the question,
yeah.
and through that you will. Okay. So where is the headquarters of this proposed company? Where do you intend to keep it? Which city?
So we are thinking of Pune, like since Pune is a metropolitan
Pune.
and a
Fair enough. Fair
cosmopolitan.
enough. Fair enough. Pune. Now from Pune, if you have to make one trip to Delhi, how much does it cost?
So it depends upon the route we are following. Yep.
So route you following, going there, staying there for 2-3 days, talking to customers, getting into a mall, taking their permission, giving them money, because you're doing a business activity. They will also charge money, right? A mall owner,
Yeah,
shopper stop will
so
charge
online
money
will be
from you.
better for this. Online will be better. Our existing
This is
customers
not the
can give
time to
us
think.
the
This is not the
testimonials.
time to think. You right, or modify your answer. You said you'll physically go to these stores, right? These places and
So we
convince.
have the hybrid model will be following, where 60% will be physical and 40% will be the offline.
Sure. Okay. Um,
And we'll
Sir,
focus
you're
for physical. We'll stay in
yes,
our headquarters
25,000 is
city
very less
and
for that. Please
and
appreciate 25,000 is
that
very.
is per
What is the
user
and
cost.
smart derma zones experiential marketing?
Yes, smart derma zones experiential marketing is like if like this is missing out what we have seen in the current market. Like if the experts are not there, like a product backed by experts, like experiential marketing will be like in IT park, in business IT park, and in different.
No, but you have these all the time, right? You go to Shoppers Stop, there are these you go to the cosmetics section, there are these people who give you free makeup and all that
Yeah.
stuff. You don't have
Yes,
to buy anything from there. You can get a free makeup done. They'll suggest for your skin tone what kind of a cream you want will be good for you, or what kind of a, I don't know those
Yeah,
yeah,
terms.
that
but
is
What
sir,
also in
sir,
I'm
location.
getting your point, sir.
they
Actually,
don't
they
do
are
the
What
salesperson.
makeup.
kind of
They just test
They are
there.
actually salesperson. They are actually salesperson advising a
They don't
customer
do the
like
makeup.
on
no,
on
but
on.
they go much beyond just selling, right? They talk to the customer. They look at her skin type, her color.
Sir,
Connect
They
that
with
do
This
that,
is
sir.
skin, etc.
sir, that is a part of their job only. So they
Yeah.
have to
Right.
do that in order to
So
sell
I
that
want
So
to
product.
answer
how
Why
this.
is
don't
your
otherwise?
endeavor going to be different?
like we are having we will be having a certified bunch of people, like bunch of dermatologists, skin specialists have their
Skin
they
specialists, so
all
doctors. So you
doctors,
expect doctors to leave their practice and go to Shopper Stop and catch hold of customers and start talking about skin types and trying to push your product.
Yes, sir, we are
Do you know
targeting
how much that will cost?
So actually, we are. I know that that is costly, sir. But we are targeting at the freshers, like those who have just completed their college. Even those are doctors who want to start their journey in the doctor field. They will be like in MBA field. We used to do live projects in very less cost. So in that sense, we have thought of to take the doctors of the initial stage.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I
have
think
one more
these
point in this.
okay. Let's finish the discussion because I think others are also waiting, and Kevin also must have written some question here, right?
Hey, am I audible? I tried to fix my audio.
Okay. So, Kevin, I'll hand it over to you. My last bit of comment is this: that I think you have underestimated the cost of marketing. You have grossly underestimated the cost of marketing of an FMCG product. There is a reason why in the FMCG sector there are so few players, big players, right? Hindustan Levers, Procter and Gamble, a bunch of the, I mean, of course, two, three more in cosmetics who have the entire control of the market, right? There is only one player worth its salt, an Indian player who could make it to this big league, and that is Baba Ramdev's Patanjali,
Yeah.
right? And they had a very unique strategy. Please appreciate they had a very unique strategy. Please go and study that sometime, right? Where he was able to actually cut down his marketing cost to less than half because he established a network of loyal yoga followers, right? These marketing costs, I have a big concern in your whole project. I think these are extremely downplayed, right? Okay, over to Kevin, please ask your question.
Yeah, it's on the similar lines as Jagruk sir mentioned, that you are entering the market with a lookalike product, because this is a very mature industry where there are deeply entrenched players who already have mind share as well as market share. So there has to be some kind of a differentiator in terms of either the product itself, which is not unique. So your model of a diagnostic and then a prescription approach, that is already being done by a lot of different players like Dr. Batra's, Kaya Skincare, which are doing exactly the same thing. So essentially, in terms of marketing, it's a game of budgets then. Who can spend more to get in the mind of the customer? And that's where I feel that the numbers are skewed and there are already players who are way ahead of you. So is there any counter to that, or it's just going to be a lookalike flash in the pan kind of a brand?
I'll take that question. Firstly, sir, yeah, this is the one of the questions which were there in our mind while starting this business idea or business concept. So basically, in the last 1 year or 2 years, if we see the growth of products like Mama Earth or Wow Skincare, these are the products, and these were not the big players. What you have just mentioned, sir. And like in after COVID, now people are much more concerned about
Yes,
the health.
they're still not profitable, and I don't think they will be profitable for another couple of years. Right?
Yes, sir.
The volumes are very minuscule. I think they are going to wind up. They're going to shut shop. Mama Earth and all, right? Only a few elite customers know about Mama Earth and use their products. Not many. I mean, just because you use it or your family members, somebody close to you, your girlfriend uses it perhaps, right? Doesn't mean that it's a very popular brand.
No, sir. Yeah, I'm getting your point. They are not profitable, but sir, I slightly on a different track. Like, sir, they are not going to wind up. That is my I didn't know. That is my observation. What I have read, but yeah, they are not profitable. That is true. But again, this is an execution play, and at the same time, we are not here for the price game. As in the if I don't think like if giving a product for a lesser price will guarantee that our product will be sold. So,
sir, and one of the main
On the
USPs of our
contrary, if you have a small marketing budget, you should price it high and target only a few select customers that whom you
sir,
can reach with your strategy is more suitable to that.
yes, sir. So like the niche market, like the market, like what we are catering to, Kunal, you can take ahead with the exact customer what we are having.
Sir, most importantly, sir, first of all, as Kevin sir asked that what is the primary differentiator that differentiates us from our competition in the market? So according to me, sir, the main USP of our product is that first of all, it is free from most of the harmful chemicals that are present in most of the other leading companies' products as well. So that is one of the main differentiators that we are focusing on. And first of all, as we mentioned, the two chemicals, paraben and arsenic, those are highly effective on the skin in a negative way, also in a bad way also, if they are used in a concentration other than the recommended one. So we are making the products which are free from those. So all in all, our products are 85 to 90% more skin friendly than the other products in the market.
I
So
think,
that is one of the
Kunal,
USPs
that's
we are
more of a
focusing.
mega trend that is happening, across different industries, that people are moving towards more vegan products, probiotic, chemical free. So that's a mega trend that's happening across different industries, and that's not really something that can be a differentiator, because there are other players who have made advances already. Their FDA certification and approvals are already in place, and you are starting from scratch, and to catch up to them is going to be a little difficult, in my opinion. But I think we've crossed our timelines for the Q&A by quite a bit, but we hear you, and I get where you're coming from.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. And like the feedback was really insightful. We'll be working on the shortcomings what we are having in the subsequent rounds, and like in the subsequent presentations of our, and we'll be working on that, sir.
Yes,
Thank you
sir,
so much,
we'll
sir,
be
for your
definitely
time.
reworking on the
Thank you so
marketing
much.
budget as well. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Team Caps. So next we have Team Alahomara. So team, are you here?
Yeah, we are.
Yes.
Yeah, please start your presentation.
Good morning, everyone. We are Team Almora from IIM Ahmedabad with our product Garden Suvidha. Our aim is to build a smart and sustainable future. Of the total plants sown all over the world, around 30 to 40% of the plant die due to four major reasons. First being improper watering, which includes over and underwatering. Second being lack of time in this fast-changing world. Third is lack of awareness regarding plant need according to their types. And fourth and major reason is changing lifestyle. On an average, Indian families stays away from home for a period more than a month, which leads to carelessness towards plants. We, being from architecture and civil background, observed and experienced this issue very closely by working on the client project. Our team, along with few of our batchmates, had currently went for a small vacation, and one less thing to worry for all of us was watering our plants. Let's see how this is being catered by our product.
So to resolve the issue of improper watering, we have come up with two products, AquaPot and AquaPod. Now, AquaPot is an intelligent watering system that looks like a regular pot with space for water storage. It can hold approximately 1 liter of water, and it has sensors and pumps attached to the pot. The sensors and pump will send the signal to the pump to automatically water the plants when needed. AquaPot, we are planning to launch AquaPot with and without plants. Now, AquaPot is a facility that we are catering to by providing a new pot. But we wanted to resolve these issues on a larger scale, and it would not be feasible only by AquaPot. So we decided to come up with an arrangement for existing pots. Therefore, we have designed AquaPod for people with existing pots at home. Now, AquaPod is an attachment with a similar arrangement that could easily be fitted onto your existing pot. We are not restricting ourselves to self-watering plants, and we have the vision to provide a one-stop solution for all your gardening needs. We'll be giving gardening solutions to business parks and gardens as well. Now, coming on to the working concept of AquaPot and AquaPod. So we have attached a soil moisture sensor with the pot, which will monitor the moisture level in the pot. The soil sensor will send a signal to the pump as soon as the moisture level is dropped below the threshold level, and then the pump will water the plants. Next slide, please. Now, looking at the industry, to check the project sustainability, we look at the gardening industry. The gardening industry was worth 5.5 billion in 2020, whereas the indoor plant worth 3.2 in 2020. Also, the CAGR is 10% for the gardening industry. Looking onto the market opportunities, so currently the gardening industry is highly fragmented, and 90% of this sector is unorganized. Also, very little technological advancement has been made in this sector. Changing lifestyle and increasing awareness of the sustainability issue gives a perfect opportunity to launch the product in the market.
Yeah. So coming next to our business model, our aim is to roll out our products via the B2B as well as the B2C routes. So we have planned to launch our products in a phased manner. So initially we plan to launch our products Aquaport and Aquapod via the e-commerce websites like Flipkart and Amazon, given the increasing trend of online shopping in India. Within a year, we plan to launch the products via the retail outlets like DMart, Reliance Fresh, and Big Bazaar. Next, we plan to launch a mobile app, our own mobile app and a website to sell our products, and we would also cater to the B2B segment then and there. So our target there would be hotels, restaurants, cafes, green offices, and the business parks. We also plan to launch our products via local nurseries who will then sell it further to the end consumers. So now what differentiates us from our competitors? So there are many companies that claim to sell self-watering plants. And we have ordered and tried the products from Ogao and Ferns and Petals. And we have seen that our product is very different from what others are selling. So the purpose of self-watering plant is lost when only one day of watering is provided, and so that is what differentiates us from our competitors. When we use their products, what we have seen is that they do not use much technology, and their model is based on a thread-based system, whereas we have used sensors in our system, which actually makes the life of the plant owners much easier. Coming to the projections, so our aim is to have an increasingly diverse product line. So in the year one, we plan to launch our two products, Aquapot and Aquapod. Following which, in the next year, we plan to launch Aquapod along with the plants inside them, and also our own branded soil with manures and seeds and samplings. Further, we plan to provide a one-stop gardening solution to all the needs of the customers, and so we want to diversify from there. So the base or core of our idea is that we want to incorporate technology continuously as we are expanding. So initially we plan to launch the soil moisture sensor, and then we plan to expand it while incorporating sunlight and soil nutrients detection sensor. And as I said before, that we'll plan to launch our mobile app and the website. So we'll be incorporating the IoT based platforms. So what we see is that the given are the costs which we have projected for the 3 years, and so these are the various cost heads which we have divided, and so we see that we'll be profitable in the third year. So next are the sales and profit projections. So on the right hand side, we see that these are the major costs of inside the product which we have used, and so these are the cost heads. And on the left hand side table, we see that we have projected the demand by various research reports, and so we have seen that on the basis of the estimated demand, our the profit comes out to be so we come out to be in profits in the year 2 and 3. And so, yeah, our idea has also been, I would just like to add that our idea has also been validated by the Center of Entrepreneurship, IIM Amritsar. And yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, team. So the stage is open for Q&A.
Kevin, please go ahead.
A couple of questions. First one being, what is the cost of production for both products that you have? Right, 215 and 120 is the price. Now, this is essentially a play between a pot and a couple of sensors, right? Which is also what the competition is doing. So can you talk to us about now the competition that you mentioned that's backed by a lot of big players like IKEA, which is one of the leading players who makes these self-watering pots. Can you talk about how you plan to compete with the bigger players in the industry?
Yes, sir. So basically, when we ordered, it means we ordered all the plants, right? So Uga and also Ferns and Petals, they don't incorporate any of the technology. It can't be even connected to app in future or IoT-based things in the future. What they do is they have a plant, they have a thread inside the soil, and the thread goes below the plant, and one just had to add water every day. like we do for every other plant, right? Every day we have to water the plant. So they just have to add the water at the base of the plant, and the thread will detect whether the particular soil is dry or not, and the water will be consumed by a thread towards the upper side of the plant. So that is just a normal kind of a DIY solution they have incorporated, and it's not long-term and sustainable solution. So we can compete them in all the aspects, like technological aspect, duration aspect, and future means those plants can be incorporated, means kept within the house as well, means like on the table and all, where sunlight and other aspects are not being are hard for them to incorporate. So there are many USPs which we can play with, which can be which means through which we can be ahead of them.
Got it. Okay. Okay.
Okay. So I have some concerns. Yeah, just hold on to this slide. So I have some concerns about your revenue projections. So 5,000, 25,000 in the second year, 75,000 in the third year. How do you justify? How do you propose you'll get these figures? Such as huge growth in the first three. I mean, second year, third year, especially second year to third year. I mean, a huge growth. How do you justify that?
So what we have planned is we will be giving outsource for the very first year. We are planning to go outsource model where we'll be outside manufacturer will be making a product for us. And year 2 and year 3 we plan to start our own operations. And when we found the demand, it's means when we do the focus group studies and when we interacted with the people, we thought that we came up with the estimated number where demand won't be a problem. The problem will be from the supply side, like production side. So year 2 and year 3, we will be planning for expanding our supply. So that's why these numbers are huge in year 2 and year 3. Because year 1 will be majorly testing out the product, where we'll be rolling out the limited number of products and testing out whether it will be work, what will be their feedback. Based on that, from in year 1, we'll be improving our product, and year 2 and year 3 will be the complete launch, where we will be preparing our own products.
Can I see a comparison of these figures with the figures of the competitors? How many units? This is in rupees or this is in units? 25,000, 75,000.
These are the numbers, expected sales number. And
75,000 units.
Yeah, units.
Right. Okay. Can I see the competitors' figures? How much are they selling currently? Do you have those?
So we have not added it in the PPT, but when we looked at the Ugao sales, they have sold around 15 lakh unit last year.
Okay. I have no other question.
Sachin, if you can go to the next slide.
This one, that was the last slide. Can you just?
Yes.
Yeah, this is the last slide actually.
The fund utilization and capital requirement one.
Okay. Back.
So can you explain some rationale behind the growth that you are figuring out over here? Because on the scalability part of such kind of models, where sustainability aspect is taken care of, and as we see these kind of products moving into the market at a more holistic manner, so what rationale do you attach to the factor of growth that you are showing?
So our aim is to provide tech-based gardening solutions to all the landscape project. Like when we work on the landscape project, the major hurdle is it's very hard to manage, and the market is very fragmented. So our main aim is to provide technological-based gardening solution. So we want to enter with a smaller kind of products like aquapot and aquapot, which will create a kind of a market awareness about what kind of product we are building. So in year 1, we are launching with it, and the expansion will be brought to us by B2B segment. So that is our year 3 projections. So where we will be providing, we will be tying up with the architects, we will be tying up with the developers, where we will be the one who will be providing all the landscape solutions, because we know even just with a battery or just with particular external power banks or something, it's very hard to provide the source. But if you want to provide the technological based solutions, we have to get involved into the project on the very start of what we say initiation of a plan. when the buildings are being built or when the construction is being done, because we will be requiring the ports, we'll be requiring kind of a sprinkler system where the sprinklers will be coming out from the soil. So all these things being required. So our expansion will be based on providing B2B solution by year 3. So that's how we have calculated the projection.
Your asset, but your asset management, as you bring in the most asset created in the first 2 years, so the utilization of funds that you are putting over here, how do they go suddenly at a strike differentiating in the 3rd year?
Because our major cost rate will be incurred in year 2, where we'll be working on R&D as well as the IoT based platform which will be being developed, and year 3 the product will be almost ready. Because
is it backed by any kind of customer analysis or any kind of market analysis you have gone through this?
So we have just, as of now, we have done the FGD surveys. Other than that, we have reached out to like we have one product called Memory Point Private Limited, which the app-based product, which is already on the Play Store. So we know how much time it takes, how much cost it takes. Like it took around 3.5 months for us. The product is also live. So we already we kind of have an understanding about how much time and how much need is for that particular kind of product and how much cost it takes. So based on these 2 factors, we have
and are you sure that with the kind of capital infusion that you are targeting to, and with the assets, fixed assets or the capital assets to be managed, this will be a scalable figure?
As of now, we think it will be a scalable feature, but for sure, when we launch our real, these are just expected numbers, right? I can understand it may be, it will have a lot of fluctuation, but this is the kind of ideal scenario when nothing kind of external factor affects us. So that's how we are
definitely there are external factors which will keep you on toes to track down these numbers, but what I see for you is a major challenge in developing these assets, and at the same time with the multiplier factor that you are attaching to the expectations, that's a pretty risky one which you can think of.
Yeah.
Just to add on to the point that Sachin said, talking about the scalability factor. So as Sachin rightly said, that in year 1 we'll be outsourcing our pods. So we are planning to launch our products through online channels in year 1. And after year 2, Vishwesh also said that we'll partner up with nurseries and we'll sell our products to the nurseries as well, so that it is widely available to the customers. So in that
value addition, I do take that point, but the value addition that you are targeting to will externally dependent on the assumptionability of the customers that you are targeting.
Yeah.
In that case, the scalability will be a challenge if the technology that you are trying to put into this, or the kind of innovative mindset that you are trying to travel through your customers, is not achieved. So that's a very greenfield area that you are targeting.
Okay, good. Shall we move on to the next group?
Thank you, sir. Thanks for all the feedback. We'll incorporate all the aspects you said. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, team. So next we have Team Culture Shots here.
Yeah, I'm just sharing my screen. I hope my screen is visible.
Yes, Aishwarya, go ahead.
So I'm going to start. Good morning, everyone. This is my presentation. I am Team Culture Shots, Explore the World in a Box. So before we get started with what the product is about, I would like to talk a little bit about myself, because the whole journey that I went through is how the idea was perceived and created. So the first thing is that I had the unique opportunity of studying in the United States. I studied at Mississippi State University for my bachelor's between the years of 2013 to 17. During that time, I had to interact with a lot of international students, American focused, although they were people from different backgrounds. So while we had these candid conversations, a lot of conversations were regarding culture and understanding some of the gender or the cultural differences between the countries. So some of the frequently asked questions, as I've mentioned here, isn't Dubai and Delhi the same? Isn't Dubai the capital of India? Is all Indian food spicy? Do you speak Hindu? Although this can be borderline considered stereotypical, a lot of them were also interested to learn about new cultures. At that point of time, I understood that there were 4 pain points. One is lack of exposure in interaction, lack of opportunity of a product which will teach them this, lack of engaging ways to educate the customers about the same and make them global citizens of the world. Therefore, I created 4 opportunities that can be determined out of this. One is genuine interest, as they were really interested to learn about different cultures. They wanted engaging aspects included in the same, and they wanted a social experience with a focus on authenticity. Thereby, I created Thereby, I created culture shots. I'm sorry, is my slide not moving? Yeah. So thereby, I created value proposition culture shots. So what does culture shots mean? It offers an exciting cultural immersion of a different country every month. Now, in the picture that I have put is an India box. Now, what does this contain? An India box will contain a passport and a boarding pass to help customers feel that they have virtually traveled the world, a clothing or accessory item which can be used both as an educational tool as well as a cultural item for their products. Additionally, we have also included a game and a toy in order to learn about the culture, an activity which includes playing Monopoly, playing cards, something like that, a book which educates the customer about India, a preparation dish which can be put together to make a product like I'm making paneer butter masala. 3 ready-to-snack items, which can be a mixture of sweet and savory, and summary information about about India in general. So if you see the India box, we have put here bangles and earrings and kajal. We have put dupatta for the woman. We can use a pagdi for a man. We can use different kind of information about the animals, the history facts, Hindi movies, what is about the country, currency, and different types of food and snacks. So what is the main objective from this? The main objective is threefold. One is to offer a social experience so that whoever is getting involved in this activity is getting satisfied with the product that is offered. Secondly, use this product to educate the customers about cultural differences and make them global citizens. And third is to cherish and nurture the differences as well as similarities. So while this idea was generated, it is also important to do market research. So I conducted market research in 2 folds. The first market research was done in 2000 during the time I was in the US to understand the interest of the US market and received positive feedback. A lot of the customers do believe that you can create this box and educate the customer about the product. And secondly, I conducted a market research in India to understand how Indians perceive about this product. Are they more interested in an India box within each state? Are they more interested in India box across the country? So that is what I had done here. So in this, I am focusing mainly on Indian research, in which the customers, about 83% said that they're willing to try a box from every country. And the average price of the box is anywhere between 1,000 to 1,200, considering India is a price sensitive market. Third aspect that I included was the parenting aspect. So therefore, I wanted to understand what is the age which a parent thinks is the right age to teach about different cultures. Considering the research, it said anywhere between 6 to 12 years. So top educational interest items include education items, games, snack, clothing, and an activity. This is specifically to the Indian market, and US market will be done separately. So like I said, after conducting this research, I did market segmentation that can be broadly divided into 3. The first target is the suburban parents, for which the data proves that they would like to educate their children. So what will happen is they're educating about the culture to their kids, playing games to engage them in using the product more effectively, thereby retaining it more properly into their head. And this can be also focused for those Indians living abroad who want to educate their child, although the child is not living in India. This can be a flavor for those settled abroad. The second category is travel enthusiasts. Travel enthusiasts is because they love traveling and they enjoy traveling. So therefore, this can be used as a pre-kit. So before I go to France, I will get the box, I'll get accustomed to the culture and I know what to expect, and then go on my trip. The third is millennial and Gen Z. A lot of these customers are into globalization, are working with clients who are US, UK based, etc. So therefore, the sentiment mapping here would be games for hangout night, experimentation with different type of food, and usage of social media to showcase the same. So While every idea is great, it is important to know what the competitors are doing in the market. So I have found three main competitors for the same. One is Japan Crate, one is Globe In, and one is Blue Apron. So these are the different categories through which I have done the competitor analysis. Japan Crate is an organization which focuses only on one country, Japan, and secondly, only provides candy. So they have different boxes in a prescription type model, a subscription type model of different types of boxes. We have Globe In, which is a recently launched startup, which is offering global variety because they're getting procurement of products from Cambodia, Vietnam, etc. They provide a social experience. However, their focus is only on a woman-centric and artisan goods, which include a basket, a bag, a showpiece, something like that. Blue Apron focuses only on meal subscription model. However, Culture Shots ticks all the criteria in the market where it's providing a global variety, it is providing ready to food item, it is providing a social experience and any souvenir or gifts. The average price point for US is $49 per box for each product, which is done through market analysis. And India is $20 a box, considering that India is a price sensitive model. With this, I would like to close my presentation and I'm open to any questions that you may have. Thank you.
Thank you, Aishwarya. So the stage is open for Q&A.
Go ahead, Kevin and Durgaji.
Hi, Aishwarya.
Hello, sir.
Kevin.
Okay. So, hi, Aishwarya.
Hi.
Interesting concept. My worry is that this will end up being a 1 or 2 month experiment for your consumers, and they will end up taking this as a one-off experience, and then that will stop because they will lose interest after they do it, say, for a couple of countries. So, and then the ticket size becomes a problem because every customer, if it's an Indian customer, $20 into two for 2 months or 3 months, that really does not become a very valuable market. How do you propose to tackle that?
Right. So this is a niche market in India, and with the research that I conducted, our first target customer will only be parents who are having certain amount of disposable income to put their child in interest. So that is when I will move towards the expansion of a B2B side. So
so you're essentially targeting the South Bombay, South Delhi tier 1
yes,
elite crowd only in the whole global setup.
Correct, exactly. So that is considering India market. When we are looking at abroad expansion in the US, everyone seemed interested. Even college students who I interacted with, I think I interacted anywhere between 300 to 500 college students, and all seem to have the disposable income to put interest in this product. But obviously, the marketing strategy will be different for US and India. If I look at India alone, like you said, the South Delhi, South Bombay, those kind of customers will come into play for B2C. For B2B, I will tie up with corporate companies like Thomas Cook or Kesari or something like that, where they offer international packages, and this will be an add-on to the customer, so they can, learn more about like basically be prepared to go to the country. They don't want to go unprepared. Right. They want, so that would be the thought process.
Got it. Actually, my follow-up question would be on pricing, because the elements that you mentioned in these boxes are all very expensive, like the handicrafts, the Monopoly game, all of that. And you're planning to price it at, say, between 1,000 to 1,200. That's what your research is coming out for India. So what's your pricing model? Are you taking a percentage margin, or how are you planning to price your product?
It will be a subscription-based model, which I was looking at. Additionally, what I was looking at is creating different types of boxes with different ticket items. So this 1,200, the 1,000 to 1,200 was a basic model which I had given to customers, where they can put up to 3 to 4 maximum products in the box. And then as and when they increase, the cost will also increase. So this was the option I had given in the survey, and customers said that they will add on as in like basically customization. That was the idea.
Do you have the elements of any of these boxes already made?
So we had
can we see some Spanish box or an Italian box, maybe?
We created only India, and then we moved, like I had a team before, but now the team is dissolved due to different reasons. So we had created an India box at that time because we were pitching to US people. So since I'm Indian, it's just easier to do it that way. So we have only created India box as prototype. With regards to the others, we had started to put together Japan and Oman boxes. but we haven't solidified it yet.
Got it. Thanks.
Yeah, hi Aishwarya. I would like to understand more on the feasibility perspective where you are dealing with a country like India, which has diverse customer personas to be addressed to. And if you can take a supplement one in saying that how do you look at the market size here in India?
Okay, so India market research was done extensively, focused only on Maharashtra as of now because there's a larger contact over here. While I understand their cultural differences, a way to address that within India is to offer that on the website and the application. So essentially, there will be an option where you will see an India map and you will click on the India map, which will showcase probably the top best feature that they have. So Punjab mein pagdi and Maharashtra mein maybe misal pav or vada pav, right? So those are like top things which you can see. Then a customer can take a look and add that into their box. When I'm focusing on India market, Indians also showed interest on learning different state-wise, since there's a lot of diversity. So what ideally that would be another track on itself, where I would only focus on India states. So, but right now I want to focus on the world because the ideal situation is that globalization has just changed the perception. So like I said, for India state-wise, it will just be customer can learn about the different things and then put it in the box as per their requirement and then take it forward.
So as you say, there's a physical intensiveness with the products that you would be bringing through, and with that thing, in the current scenario, how do you think this is a scalable model? Because if you talk about several other international countries also, how do you address that challenge?
So supply chain will definitely be an issue because we're looking at authenticity. What we had ideally planned to do is partner up with a native from that particular country, say a Saudi Arabian individual, and interact with them to understand what is the best products that can be put in the box. And then that way authenticity would be taken care of. Supply chain, although will be an issue, we'll just have to interact with supply chain courier companies and then take it forward to understand what the cost would be. Because the packaging will be done from our end. Because if you're selling it to parents, packaging is very important to get the child even hooked in the first place. So packaging will be done on our end and then couriered by an external third party.
Bring you back to the drawing board, that what kind of need gap analysis have you gone through to understand that such a kind of product will have iterations in future and this could be brought into new domains or new specifications or versions?
Okay, so that was done through the market research that I had conducted both in US and in India. So in US, I had asked them how open are you to exploring new cultures? How much do you want variety in their cultures? So addressing Kevin's point where he said that customers might get bored, that is where we put in the customization element. And what we ideally also wanted to do was tie in a story of an individual who has gone through something like this and how the essence plays an important role. So put a QR code in the box so a customer can just scan it and learn a story about an individual who may be adapted to a different situation, but they still care about their country and thereby creating relatability of content. So you will learn ki, oh, this person moved from XYZ place, they still love their country, this is what is important for them, that kind of thing. So need gap analysis was done through market research only. But in US, I understood that customization is more advantageous because they have disposable income and they're willing to spend money on that. In India, it will be a challenge. That is why we are starting with a small box. And as and when the customer wants to increase, they can add. So the market will become niche, but the product price will become high.
Okay, so on just a last question to add into this, that what is the current involvement or of the team right now?
Currently, only I am completely dedicated to the project. I had two other founders. One was Priyanka, who was my roommate back in the US. She is currently not available due to unforeseen circumstances. And there was an American man who was helping us assist with the same, but he is now currently working full time. So it's just me.
So is it currently totally bootstrapped by you, or has there been any fundraising?
Fundraising has not been done right now. Right now, there is just in discussion with investors and how to take the product ahead. There's still some costing part completing. I'm working on that because for me, it is so easy to think about the US market because I've lived and learned it and the idea got perceived there. But when I try to bring it to the India market, a lot of elements come into play. So that is why I need assistance for it. So US market wise, the costing is fine. It's sort of okay. But India may it's still a challenge.
So a little difficult question. What's your exit strategy for this kind of model?
What is my exit strategy? I don't want to exit.
Great to know that. Thank you. Thank you, Vishal.
Thank you, sir.
I have reservation only on your pricing this thing. So I do see I'm a pricing faculty, right? So and my experience is that it's a myth to believe that Indians are price sensitive. That's not true. That's absolutely a very narrow way of looking at Indians. Indians do spend a lot when it comes to something where they see value. So if you can make Indians see value in your product, I don't see why Indians will be any less willing to spend compared to maybe an American or a European, right? So today you'll see more number of Indian, people from Gujarat and all traveling to Europe as tourists than vice versa. I mean. Right, so I mean things like education. Indians are more willing to pay through their nose. Americans are not. Right. I mean, so there are places where we are definitely. So that's a myth. So you got to explore that option. So that's what I'm driving at. So don't go with the preconceived notion that Indians would not be willing to pay for this. Do an assessment. I don't know whether people will be willing to pay for this as much as a European or an American would, but do an assessment. That's what I'm saying. Don't base it on assumptions.
Absolutely, sir. You are absolutely right. So with the limited market research that I did, I could see that the cost was maybe 1,500 max rupees, right?
So it's important to see who were those people. So if they were your peer students definitely are price sensitive, right?
Yes.
Anyways, what I'm trying to, since we're running short, I just wanted to make that point. Your product is innovative. I give you that much. I want to see some calculations of profit and loss and that in your slides. Could you put that on very quickly?
Sir, I have not done it because it is
So
very.
without that, a presentation for entrepreneurship is incomplete, right? I mean,
Fair, sir.
some
That's
sort of
fair.
projections need to be there.
Sure, sir, but I'm sorry, I don't have it right now. It's a very basic one I have created previously, but I have not added it as a part of the presentation.
Fair enough.
I apologize for that.
Okay, let's go to the next.
Yeah, thank you, Aishwarya. So next we have Team Vibrance. So team, are you here?
Yes. I'll be sharing the screen.
Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. This is Team Vibrance. I'm Chanakya Kaminana, hailing from Visakhapatnam. I worked with Deutsche Telekom as a data scientist in the past before joining at IIM Raipur.
Good morning, everyone. I am Janvi Lagra, and I come from a pharma background. And with a knowledge and expertise, we present a blockchain-based health and medical data management solution, the MetaCare app. So next slide, please. We will be the first healthcare blockchain companies in the Indian markets, penetrating into a new segment of digital health. So looking at the healthcare industry for chronic diseases, especially, about 75% of the people with aggregate healthcare, their entire spending is on chronic diseases. The healthcare consultation industry is currently valued at 160 billion rupees as of 2022. So if we look at the traditional healthcare model in this, the patient with chronic diseases generally goes to the healthcare professionals in a general brick and mortar setting. And after that, the patient is directed to a specialist or any healthcare professional directed team. So if we look at the healthcare data management 2022, it is a highly connected ecosystem in which all the different departments are integrated within each other. The health records of the patient is stored in a centralized system in which the health data is stored into a blockchain. So we propose a new service-based model and an app through which the health monitoring is done through an IPO, which is the made by us based on the predictive analytics of the same. So our aim is to put the patient in the control of their medical data, giving them the power to share the single most comprehensive version of the records with every organization in their medical networks. So let's say if you had diabetes in 2015 and you were, so your doctor for
So is there a problem of internet at my end or her end?
So it's
Yeah,
from
the
her
voice
end.
is cracking
I wanted
from
to
you
hear
as well.
also,
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, I had an internet. Can I continue?
Then you can
Yeah.
switch your camera in case.
Yeah, sure. So looking at the healthcare industry, the healthcare data management for 2022 is a highly connected ecosystem in which all the different departments are integrated with each other. The health records of the patient is stored into a centralized system in which health data is stored into a blockchain. So we propose a new service-based model and an app through which the health monitoring is done through an IPO, which is the integrated practice units of the health data management, and the recommendations we make are on the basis of predictive analytics of the same. So our aim is to put the patient in the control of their medical data so that they can share it with every organization in their medical network. Let's say if you had diabetes in 2015 and you were on a certain medication for the same, and now like that you have kidney damage in 2022 and your doctor has no proof for the same for the records of 2022. So this fragmented patient records create inefficiencies and inaccuracies across the breadth of the healthcare system, which is where we step into the market space. Next slide, please. So the impact of a continuous healthcare monitoring system, we look into the benefits of it. Like there, of course, will be reduced costs with the same. And of course, it is patient friendly with our user interface with the exciting gamification strategies and regular feedbacks. Another contributing factor in these programs is the impact of group dynamics. When the patient that is suffering from a chronic disease sees in another individual with the same condition, the lifestyle changes can be inculcated into himself. So, and another factor is the higher patient engagement. So as the patients are connected more frequently and effectively, the communication will also be consistent and at regular intervals between our care team also, which helps them with a lot of solutions for the healthcare system. Next slide, please. So the solution, which is where we keep our health data safe, is by using the blockchain-based system for our services. Blockchain maintains the integrity of all the healthcare records. Doctors, hospitals, and laboratories can all request the patient information that has the record of origin and protects the patient's identity. So the blockchain can be used to change ownership of data to the patients and give them the power to share their information, providing full transparency and avoid any sort of errors caused by miscommunication. In addition, data stored on the blockchain is of course completely immutable, preventing any tampering or of records or incorrect information being passed along or being deleted. So now we look forward to the implementation of this idea at scale. So it will be done by the following steps. The patient data is first uploaded to the blockchain using EMR, which is the electronic medical records, into the health portals and using the IoT devices like any variables that the patient might be using. So before the information is added to the chain, it is authenticated by our running algorithms, after which the copies of this ledger is maintained and the changes will be reflected within seconds with the machine only to the necessary healthcare providers and other stakeholders through public and private keys. Further, the data requests are completed and the data is transferred to various bodies which are in need of the same for further processing, such as for R&D, pharma companies might be using it, and other health insurance companies might also be using it. So with our app, the MetaCare, we can give services and like personalized care, and with such a huge amount of data which is being generated, the results can be further shared with hospitals, doctors, healthcare providers to take any preventive actions in advance, saving a lot on the healthcare spending. So we focus on integrating each of the stakeholders into a loop through our app, MetaCare, and the services that we provide.
So healthcare analytics has the potential to reduce costs of treatment, avoid preventable diseases, and improve quality of life in general. So we'll be discussing several use cases of our app, which we'll implement on incremental basis as we acquire more data. So coming to a clinical dashboard, it is a tool that can be employed in healthcare systems to reduce medical error and improve clinical communication. It helps medical practitioners in, let's say, staying up to date with new conditions. So using our machine learning and deep learning models, we can analyze these conditions by using a recommendation system, and will recommend these detailed diagnostic and treatment options based on our updated research. Next, the patient's self-monitoring could improve symptom management and help us in disease regulation. It could also lead to reduction in complication, improve patients' coping attitude towards their disease by allowing realistic goal setting and an enhanced quality of life. Next, next we could use our data for population analysis for designing public health initiatives. This will help researchers in identifying segments of population at risk and implement awareness campaigns to guide them towards a healthier lifestyle. Similarly, we can also develop personalized treatment plans at physician level by correlating information on chronic conditions, and let's say by generating personalized treatment plans based on patient-specific profiles. We're also aiming to use this data for metabolic profiling. So the idea is that it helps us in recognizing errors in metabolism, which if recognized by early screening, it can be controlled with life-saving nutritional supplements and dietary interventions. Instead of a conventional treatment failure approach, it will help patients in reducing costs through personalized medicine. Now, coming to revenue. So with a freemium revenue model.
Team, your time is up. Please wind up your presentation.
Sure. So with the selective revenue model, with a freemium revenue model, so selective content would be available for free, and users need to pay, let's say, subscription-based fee on usage levels. So we are planning to also partner with other healthcare healthcare companies to place the products at maybe at discounted prices or at free of cost, which customers can redeem through reward points. These points are accumulated through their activity on the app. So the major cost elements would include development and maintenance of software, subscriber acquisition costs. This would ideally include advertising through search engines, and the costs incurred for acquiring hospitals through business development teams. So we are assuming, given on the industry standards, we are assuming a 10% conversion rate for our visitors, and we are estimating the revenue once starting from 2023 to be around 20 crores. And we are estimating that the year-on-year growth would be approximately 20 to 25%.
Okay, Tim, you can stop presenting now.
Okay, sure.
Yes, the stage is open for Q&A.
Hi, Team Vibrance. Couple of questions on the assumptions that you've taken. Can you talk to me about the point of input for this solution that you are bringing in? So essentially, correct me if I'm wrong, but you are essentially taking all the data in a patient file and aggregating it into one place, yes, and running ML algos to solve those problems, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So just talk to me about the point of input for these chronic diseases, and how can you get more people into subscribing for this service?
So yeah, for our initial pilot project, so we are planning to approach the hospitals, and so we are going to approach these hospitals, and we'll be pitching in our product. And so we, of course, there's this. Of course, the hospitals wouldn't be ready to share the existing customer records because there's a act saying that you cannot share this.
My first question is that what is my point of input? Say if I have diabetes, how do you get to know what is happening in my body or when I go for a checkup? That's the first question. And the second question is, how do you convince me to share this data with you?
Sure. So one idea that we have thought about is to provide incentives to the patients. So we'll be approaching hospitals, and the patients will be coming for regular consultations. So we'll be asking the hospitals to share this data with us, given that we'll be providing some incentives to them. in order to share the data. And we'll be explaining the benefits of using this app. And apart from that, so basically in order to build this model, so regarding talking about the inputs, so let's say if the patient, let's say, is having diabetes, so we'll be taking into account various parameters while building the data, such as his blood sugar levels and what kind of medication is the person on, what kind of lifestyle is he on, what kind of dietary lifestyle is the person following, and what kind of, let's say, physical routine he's following. And based on this, we'll be building a model, and that will be used, in order to recommend dietary plans to the persons who are already, let's say, having diabetes. Or let's say, also this can also be used in different ways. We can also predict if a person might have diabetes in future.
So basically, we're planning to connect the person's app with its wearables. Like a lot of people are now using IT devices for a lot of their healthcare records. So we plan to connect with the same, like if you're using any wearables with the same, like a smartwatch, let's say, which records your blood pressure level or which records your heart rate or anything like that. So we connect with the same, and that's how we record the patient data. And as of now, as we're sharing it with the healthcare professionals also, we plan to store the medications of the person. So that's where the patient input comes into the picture.
Do you have any capabilities in terms of the algorithms that you'll be running, or it's an assumption that we'll be running the algos once the data is going to come in?
Coming to this part, so there are apart from India, there are other solutions in other countries similar to this, which are able to do so. So based on the given data, once we start acquiring more and more data, we believe that it is pretty much possible for us to do the same.
After we collect the data.
Yeah.
No more questions from my side. Thank you.
Team, have you piloted this somewhere yet?
So currently, currently we are in talks with one of the hospitals. So where my cousin is working, we are trying to pitch in this product. The idea is that once we acquire a sizable amount of data, we'll start working on this data pipelining. I mean, we'll try to organize this data and start working on this algorithms. And eventually, we are planning to hire interns. To work on this. And once we have this data pipeline set up, we are planning to reach out to more hospitals in order to acquire more data. Since usually ML or deep learning algorithms tend to perform better as we increase the data size.
So can you brief a little on your customer acquisition model?
Sure, sir. So mostly, our customer acquisition would be done through. So once we have the product, once we have the app design, so we'll be trying to pitch this through hospitals. We'll be advertising it through hospitals and through search engine advertising. So these are our two components. So while advertising through hospitals would incur costs through our business development teams that will be hiring.
So what's the current data or what's the current analysis or research that you are relying upon on the acceptability of the product?
So currently, so can you elaborate your question again?
I just wanted to know that whether the acceptability or what Kevin was taking the point from there, that on the convincing side of that these kind of data could be integrated, and the integration of data through the hospitals or the patient record data will be put into picture, and something of a product which is totally on a ML or algo based thing will be predicting out into the health space of an individual. So what's the research or analysis that is backing the entire product that you're designing?
Yeah, so in the international markets, there are already apps through the government also, one of which is the medical chain app, which is currently in the US. So in the international markets,
let's understand the feasibility of this product in terms of the data that you are speaking of building around, which is a kind of health related data, and the metrics that you would be providing through the various mechanisms that you have already elaborated. I want to understand whether this kind of product, as blockchain is something again which is a very on the green side of the innovation story. So what is the expertise or what is the preparedness for you guys to currently institutionalize this entire setup that you are trying to build it? It's true that there are international models already, but what's your preparedness? I want to understand.
Okay, sir. So I'll try to add to this. So currently in India, of course, there are, let's say, solutions without data. So maybe if you can take example of Practo, so they are offering all the services, but they are not utilizing the data. Here, we'll try to incorporate this data in our model, and we'll try to provide suggestions. I mean, it's not that we'll be saying that we are predicting the conditions with 100% accuracy, but we'll be providing suggestions, and we'll be trying to fasten this, speed up the process of diagnosis in a way. So
what's the current market size that you are looking you will be able to penetrate into on the first chunk?
So currently for online healthcare industry in India, so it is approximately 116 billion as of now, and it is planning to grow by 300 billion by 2024. So currently we are planning to penetrate, let's say 0.1% of this market based on our estimated revenue, based on our revenue that we are projecting for 2023.
Fair enough. So on the metrics or whatever financial metrics you are currently posing out, on the revenue front, would you like to tell me that what's the growth multiplier index you're taking, or how do you want to pinch it into the valuations?
I would like to share the revenue model with us. If you can give me a second, I'll share the financials. Sir, based on our estimated visitors to our website, so we are for 2023, we are estimating a service revenue of up to 20 crores. So we plan to charge approximately 500 per subscription, and we are assuming that with a 10% conversion rate, we'll be directly generating a revenue of let's say 20 crores. So in the first year, we are not planning to have any other revenue from hospitals who will be using our services. And for our advertising, we are allocating about 10% for, let's say, for posting ads, or maybe let's say pitching in our products and hiring our business development team. And for our maintenance of our infrastructure, we estimated that it would be around 50 lakhs, and rent for office space and research and development, all this together would cost, our expenses would cost up to let's say 6 crores, and we'll be having earnings of about 13 crores. And our year-on-year growth, we are estimating based on the visitors, based on our visitor projection, we are estimating that our year-on-year growth would be about 20 to 25%. And on an incremental basis, we are based on the earnings. So our growth would be approximately 20% per year.
Quite big numbers to start with. Jagrukji, I will take you.
Yeah. So I have just one concern. So I don't understand these numbers. So maybe Durga will understand them better. But I have concerns about your expected revenues, in the sense that medical data is very, very sensitive, very, very private, right? I have seen during this COVID times, there are a lot of people who had COVID, but out of whatever privacy reasons, they didn't want to share this information of them having COVID with anybody else, right?
Yes,
let alone the government government websites. So they didn't want to acknowledge that they have COVID, right? I see a very big hurdle in you trying to convert people, asking them to share their such a person. And COVID is not a big disease, right? I mean,
Yes, sir.
there are a lot of other diseases. Like I mean, a lot of people don't want to share they have cancer. A
Yes,
lot
sir.
of people, and I'm not even talking about diseases like AIDS and sexually transmitted diseases. Nobody wants to acknowledge that they've had that ever in their life, and you want to put them in the permanent records in blockchain. I see a lot of hesitancy there, right? I
Yes,
do
sir.
see a lot of hesitancy. Your estimate of 10% customers, that I think is too high. I think less than a percent or even a fraction of a percent customers would be so willing to put permanent records on their health status, put it in blockchain, and make it permanent forever, right? Okay, so that's the only concern. That's the only concern I have, and that's the place where I see your projections go wrong.
Sure, sir. I
Right?
understand.
Okay. So let's move on to the next presentation.
And team, please do connect post the session. I would like to understand something in greater detail with the
Sure.
live.
Sure.
Sure.
Thank you, Team Vibrance. So next we have Mindful Buzzers here. So team, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. I'm sharing my screen.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is my screen visible? Hello?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so good morning, everyone. I'm Subhashri and I'm delighted to be here. So I would like to start my presentation with a very powerful quote. Sarvam Paravansham Dukham, Sarvam Atma Vansham Sukham, which translates to everything that is in others' control is painful, while everything that is in self-control is happiness. But does it really hold true in today's world? Well, no. According to a survey conducted by National Institute of Statistics, 1 out of every 8 students enrolled in school or college drop out. The reason being they do not find the curriculum choice based. 18.8% of the student does not find interest in education. They are not able to pursue their career based on their choice. And believe me when I say, till today my mother says me, पढ़ाई कर ले, ये drawing से पैसे नहीं आने वाले. And I just wonder why in this 21st century also I cannot earn by following my passion. Wouldn't it be great if I meet the right people at the right time who allows me to do so? And this is exactly where Matchmade comes into the picture. So who are we? We are the only organization who empower people to follow their passion by connecting with the people who wants one. And how does it benefit the other party? Well, you get a singer, a dancer, or a comedian all at a one place. You never have to be again in 5 different places searching for one. Our business model, so we are a matchmaker business model where Matchmate is the producer because it incurs the cost of development. Our partners are the companies who are sponsoring and partnering with us, the ad partners and the cloud providers. And the customers are the service providers and the customers. The consumers are basically the service providers and customers. So here let's have a look at the users. So the users are divided into 2 broad categories. One is my service provider. Service providers are again divided into the artists. So they can be the singer, dancer, or they can be the stand-up comedians. They are basically the entertainers who can perform in front of a huge crowd. Then we have the micro influencers having less than 5K followers. And then we have either the graphic designers or the photographers who are basically freelancers interested to conduct workshops. Now, on the consumer side, we have the individual clients, maybe the restaurant or the cafe owners, the high net worth individual having an annual income of greater than 50 lakhs, or the small businesses, either the startups or SMEs and MSMEs. And then we have the workshop organizers who can be either educational institution or the corporates. This is my business model. So I'll not explain the business model. Rather, I would explain how my application works. So it is a very easy to use application. Just imagine if Tinder meets LinkedIn. So suppose Mr. Abhishek here is a very talented guitarist and he wants to perform in a very famous cafe of Bangalore. So all he has to do is register himself as a user, provide the basic details, upload a video for verification, which would be verified by the algorithm. And then when the customer looks at his profile, the video, and swipes him, it is a match. It is as simple as that. Now the market. Well, the market, Indian C2C market is growing at a CAGR of 60 to 75%, currently worth at $9 billion. And the competitors we have is the LinkedIn, which is 0.25 market share. Then we have the Internshala, but there is no direct competitor which is providing all of the talents as a one place. Now, if you look at the segmentation, so we would be targeting the tier 1 cities, and we would be initially launching in Bangalore, Delhi, and Mumbai, because they have a upbeat culture, and they also have a huge presence of the IT people who usually goes to the pubs and restaurant in the weekends. Now, the age group would be 15 to 40, because it includes the Gen Z who wants to challenge their life, who wants to try something new, and then Y.2 would be willing to take the workshops. And the profession would be undergraduate and the postgraduate professionals, including the IT people, because when they go to the pub, we can convince them to register to our website also. And the marketing plan is divided into 3 phases. So the phase 1 will be basically branding and building the awareness. Now, if I think Matchmade as a person, it would be a carefree human. The persona would be the excitement. And how are we going to attract the customers? So the service providers, we are the artists, we are going to conduct the webinars in the schools and colleges, tie up with the student bodies and provide the fund for their events, and then select the best students and ask them to register with us. Similarly, we have to find the micro influencers from the Instagram or the Facebook, and we have to go through the hard way of cold calling for our customers. We have to reach out to the restaurants or the high net worth individuals through the LinkedIn or with the help of the emails. Now, in the phase 2 of the marketing, it is we have to build on the awareness, and also we have to increase our customer to emphasis on the network effect. So for building the awareness, we will go through the digital marketing route, and for increasing the penetration, we will do partnership with either Zomato or Book My Show, and we can give Zomato coupons to the artists who get a match. And now phase 3 will be basically the expansion strategy. So for the expansion, we can either introduce new product to the existing market, or we can introduce a new product to the existing market, or go with the existing product to the new market. So on the product development side, we would be doing the consulting service for the influencers. So basically, everybody wants to become an influencer today, but the price range varies. So the influencer who is influencing for the sports, they get the highest, the music, they get the lowest price. So we want to provide the consulting services, like which area you should go. And then we also, for the market penetration, we would be doing 24/7 advertising for the restaurant owners or any companies who wants to register with us. Now, here is the revenue model. So our revenue model would be a freemium model for the service providers, and we would be taking commission from the customers, and we would be also gaining money from the advertisement. Now, here is the financials. So I would like to open the Excel for the financials. Okay, so here is the revenue, and we would be breaking even in the third year. The service providers here in the first year, we would be having 10,000 subscribers. So 10,000 is like we have 10 employees, and if we have 10 employees, then 100 we have to bring at least 100 service provider per year, and this is the customer number. So I'm taking the example of just this restaurant. So say suppose there are 57,000 restaurants in Bangalore, but our target customer, the penetration rate is only 0.1%, and then they conduct suppose 4 events per year, and this accounts to 4,930 events per year. And according to that, we would be multiplying it with the price, that is a price range of 35,000 to 500 for the artist. Multiplied to that, we will be getting the revenue. So with this, I would like to conclude my presentation by saying that there is a pain, there is a plan we have, and this is how we are going to solve it.
Thank you, Shubhashri. So the stage is open for Q&A now.
Shubhashri, can you talk about your revenue model, the numbers that you've put up? So it's a subscription-based service where the person hiring will be paying?
So it is a subscription-based model for the service providers. So say suppose I am registering it. Either it will be a freemium model. So first it is say here. Yes. So say suppose I do not want to register first, so it will be a free. Then I'm registering as the gold for either 3 months or the annual subscription. So it is subscription based for the service providers, but for the customers, since they can come only once, they do not need to pay for 3 months or the annual, because a restaurant owner does not need to pay for the 3 months. They just want an artist for one program. So for them, it is commission based. So for one match, they would be paying.
Okay, so if I am a guitar player who is looking for gigs in the city, I will go on your platform. I will pay upfront to get myself
So
listed.
say suppose you are a guitarist, so you do not want to pay. So you just register yourself, upload your videos, and then you, in case you are free member, then you have to wait for some restaurant owner to swipe for you. But then you do not want to wait. So what you will do is you will register itself yourself as an artist and pay a annual subscription of 799 or a 3 month subscription of 299. But say you are a micro influencer, then you have to pay 499 or 999. So similarly, different subscription fees for the different categories, because since artist guitarists usually get a pay of 35,000 to 5,000, but on the other hand, a photographer will get a more pay. So accordingly, the subscription fees will change. But now you are a restaurant owner. You need guitarist for only one show. You do not need to register for 3 months. So in that case, what you will do is that you will pay for only one match.
But don't you think it should work the other way around? Because you should be trying to democratize talent, where you should say that everyone register on my platform and everyone gets an equal, playing field to be part of the talent pool. And then you give a choice to the restaurant owner to pick and choose the best one among them instead of, going with the paid or inorganic boosting of certain talents or certain brands. This typically happens in the e-commerce space where companies will pay e-commerce companies to push their products up, to clean up reviews, to, things like that. So what are your thoughts on that?
Sir, I think, I didn't get your question. Could you please repeat the question again?
My question is, why are you making the artists pay? Why don't you make the person taking the service pay? Because the restaurant owner is getting the guitarist to play at his restaurant and he's making money from the artist, right?
Yes, yes. So we are making the artist fee because this is a very minimal fee which they are paying, and even they can be there as a free member also. But the only disadvantage of getting the free member is that your name will not come up in the algorithm first, and then you have to wait for some restaurant owner to swipe you. And if you are paying the subscription, you get additional features like you would be able to collaborate with other talents also. So if I am a guitarist in Bangalore, you are also a guitarist in Bangalore, I can collaborate with you, and then we can. The collaboration option will also show to the restaurant owner that these two famous guitarists are collaborating and we can call them. So there are some additional features which which they will get if they are subscribing to us.
Understood. Subhashri, there are a couple of startups which are already doing this in Bombay. I know Starklinch, Book My Artist, and a couple of others who are doing something very similar. The swiping approach and the Tinder meets LinkedIn kind of a concept. Could you talk more about that? And could you talk more about, I think I'm asking you this because this could be one of your differentiators. So can you talk to me about your differentiators from these platforms?
Yes, sir. In fact, there are some startups who are this influencer, they are providing influencers, and then there is LinkedIn. But I'm saying Tinder meets LinkedIn because my main USP here is that you do not have to be a fake, because we know it is very clear that in LinkedIn people fake in their resumes, people fake everywhere. But here our main USP here is that you be what you are. You're here because you are a talented person. You're here because you have a talent. So that is the main USP which we are providing. And the differentiator here is that there are many websites. I agree. Even our main competitor would be the social media website. Like people would say, why should I register here? I can just showcase my talent in Facebook or Instagram and I will get popularity. But here we are connecting you with the restaurant owner. Like in Instagram, you have to first increase your followers and then you have to sit and wait that when I will become popular. But here, what is the differentiator is that you have the talent, we are already connecting you with the people. You do not have to sit and wait.
Got it. Thank you, Subhashri. That's all from my side.
Thank you, sir.
Hi, Shubhashri. My first question would be, what's your policy for talent acquisition to your platform?
So the policy would be here is that if you have to first upload a video of yourself, say if you are a stand-up comedian, you have to upload a video of yourself which would be verified, and then we would give you a code name. We are giving a code name because if if you are uploading your video and your actual name is visible, then the restaurant owner can directly search you from Facebook, and they will be using this platform only to search for talent, and they can contact you with the help of the Facebook or Instagram. So we are not showing the actual name. We would give you an alias, and then the customers can reach out to you.
So that is where my question is on the create of your revenue model, what you have created. What is the sustenance of that as the repeatability of your customers won't arrive at a saturation? The break even will come very soon. So how do you see your revenue model getting activated for the numbers that you are projecting in the financials?
So the in the first 2 years, we are starting with 3 cities, and then we would expand to the other tier 1 cities. Now, initially, what we're doing is that we are matching you with the people only in that area. So if you are in Bangalore, we are matching you with Bangalore. If you're in Mumbai, then only Mumbai. But in the later stages, you would be able to travel to other cities also. We would connect you with the customers in other cities also. And along with that, we have to start some other services also. As I said that we would be providing the consulting services for the influencer marketing, because now the companies are seeing 11x revenue if they are using influencers. But what kind of influencer a person wants to be? They might have the talent, but is it the right way to go? Is it the right segment to enter? We would be providing those consulting. And then to increase the penetration, we would also conduct outdoor events like Zomato conducts Zomaland. We might tie up with them, and we would say that, okay, in Zomaland, they usually conduct events and concerts, etc. So we would be able to provide our talent there also. So we have to expand.
Your business model canvas.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So on the revenue streams which you have mentioned currently, where do you see an influx level challenge to this?
So the influx level challenge would be to get the customers, because the service providers would come because say suppose college students are coming. So seeing at the college students, other students would also come, because I talked to few people about the idea, and one major factor which came to me as a surprise, that people are not coming here for the money, people are coming here for the popularity. People would come for the popularity, but for the customers, they might come one time, and then they might get the if restaurant owner is there, they get connected with the service provider, and they can directly call the service providers. So the main influx problem which we would be facing is from the customer side.
That's true. I think there's a mingling of the unit economics somewhere which you should rethink. Well, there's a paucity of time. Jagrupji to take.
Okay, so what's your name? I can't see your name on this.
Subhashri, sir.
Yeah, sure. So, do you have a paid membership of LinkedIn or a free membership?
Sir, I have a free membership.
Do you have a paid membership of YouTube or a free membership?
YouTube also free membership.
Do you have a paid membership of Times of India, or if you go and watch whatever content is freely available?
I have a paid membership of Economic Times, not Times of India, but Economic Times I have.
So for most of these things, as a consumer, you don't pay, right? And there's a reason why these services are kept free of
But on
cost
the
for the
other
consumer.
side, I'm a paid membership of Bumble. So if I'm paying there, so I think people would
Just
be
hold
paying.
on.
Yes,
Just
sir.
hold on. Right? There's a reason why these some of these very expensive services to the company are made free for customers, right? And that reason is to grow a network of customers.
Yes, sir.
Please understand. So if you have a large network of artists for a restaurant owner to choose from, more restaurant owners would want to be a part of your network.
Yes,
You
sir.
get what I'm saying? And if you have a large network of restaurant owners as a part of your network, that second network, then there will be an incentive for me as an artist to also come and join your network.
Yes,
You
sir.
see, I mean, these are dual networks, and you
Yes,
you
sir.
have to have a strategy of growing both these networks. If you want, if you can get into that positive spiral, that spiral will become very large
Yes,
by
sir.
itself, right? But if you cannot, then your both the networks will die out very fast,
Yes, sir. I
right?
understand.
And that's a big danger. So I like the concept, right? But my advice to you is do reconsider charging a fees from consumers. I agree with what
Okay.
Kevin was saying,
Sure, sir. I would look into that. Yes, sir. Sure.
right? Because growing the network in such businesses is very, very important.
Yes, sir. Basically it is the business is based on network effect. So if
Network,
network is
and
not
correct,
there, yes, sir. I understand.
right?
Yes,
Okay,
sir. Thank you for
that's
the
all I wanted
valuable
to say.
feedback.
Yeah, thank you, Shubhashree. So we have the next team, Canotone. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm here.
yeah. Please start your presentation.
Just give me a sec. I will share my screen. Is my screen visible properly?
Yes, go ahead.
Yes. I'm here to say our house is on fire. I want you to act as if you would in crisis. I want you to act as if your house is on fire because it really is. A very warm good morning to one and all present here. I, Shivam Sharma, take this wonderful opportunity to present before you my sustainable business model, Project Sankalp. Before starting with my pitch, I want to ask one simple question. Do you guys have any idea about the biggest threat to the human existence in the current scenario? Well, if you are thinking about COVID-19, you are inherently wrong. It's not COVID-19, it's climate change. In the words of climate activist Greta Thunberg, human civilization will come to an end if climate change is not controlled. Do you know what's the biggest contributor for the climate change? Think for a bit. It's none other than pollution. Last year, according to the report by Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, pollution has caused 12 lakhs deaths nationwide. And that's a devastating number to quote here. And approximately half of the deaths are caused in nearby areas of capital city Delhi. The main reason for the capital's pollution can be contributed to stubble burning in the nearby areas of Haryana, Punjab, and Uttar Pradesh. No wonder why the capital city Delhi is on the top of the world most polluted cities ranking. Farmers in the respective states do not have any option other than setting fields to the fire. The pollution generated after the burning of the fields of paddy stubble not only degrade the quality of soil, but also have serious consequences on the health of population. To solve this serious issue, I'm working on our sustainable business model, Project Sankalp. The main target communities of Project Sankalp are the farmers of Haryana, Punjab, and Uttar Pradesh, and the rat picker community living near Delhi Meerut Highway. In the rat picker community, the male of the family are involved in rat picking, while the female of the family make paddy brooms. But nowadays, due to COVID-19 and continuous exploitation, females also started rat picking, leaving this unique art to dying and further putting their life into danger. So how innovatively we are solving this problem? Under Project Sankalp, male of the family will be involved to clear and collect the stubble from the fields of the farmers. After clear and collection, stubble will be segregated into two different parts, that is useful and non-useful stubble. All the stubble that will be collected from the fields of the farmers cannot be converted into broom. So the non-useful stubble collected from the fields and segregated during the process will be converted into compost, and the useful stubble will be converted into brooms. All the products produced under brand name Sankalp will be then sold into the market using various online platforms and our very own Sankalp application. To further simplify, I would like to explain Sankalp business plan through this circular flow model. Under Project Sankalp, we aim at creating a circular economy benefiting farmers, rat pickers, and society at large, and use all the resources available to us in a very sustainably efficient manner without generating any waste. From collection of raw material from farmers' field to its segregation and then conversion of stubble into brooms and compost. Everything will be done keeping societal and environmental benefit at the priority. Now coming to the product and USP. The main product and the brand name Sankalp is the broom, and side product is the compost. The main reason behind diversification at the initial level is only that we do not want to contribute in the problem of waste generation, and we want to keep our business model very sustainable and eco-friendly. What makes our product different from the already existing products available in the market is the four major pointers. That is better quality of the product, more durability, affordable and competitive price of the products, and eco-friendly green product and the process that we are following. The timeline of the business will be as follows. By the end of current year, that is 2022, in the mid of October and November, we will be launching our pilot project in the villages of Ravli and Sunana and Ghaziabad district, in which we have have identified. And by the end of year 2023, we aim at scaling up to Haryana and Punjab. And by the end of year 2024, we aim at becoming established business leader in the category of products that we are selling in the market. With Project Sankal, we not only focusing on creating a business or minting money, but also making a breakthrough impact concerning two of the major problems, that is providing sustainable livelihood opportunities to the marginalized communities and solving this issue of stubble burning. Impact creation will be immense. If we talk about the social and ethical impact, we will be helping in employment generation, reducing air as well as plastic pollution, making marginalized communities self-sufficient and help this unique art from dying, and fulfilling UN Sustainable Development Goals of good health and well-being, decent work and economic growth, climate action, responsible consumption and productions. If we talk about value to the stakeholders, to the farmers associating with our business model will not be bearing any cost. Further, they will be saving a cost of rupees 1400 to 1500, which they incur on burning a per acre of land. Also, we will be giving compost to the farmers, so that will help them switch from the traditional farming to the organic farming, which will help their which will help them in earning more revenue and also increase their productivity. Farmers are the one who are most severely affected with this problem of stubble burning. So when this problem will be solved, they are the one who will be benefited the most and getting the clean environment to breathe upon. And if we talk about the consumers will be getting better quality products, and further by purchasing any of the product produced under brand name Sankalp, they will be contributing towards building a sustainable and green future. Now coming to the competitive landscape, if we talk about the startup that are working to solve this issue of stubble burning, there are two major players in the market. One is Kriya Labs and other is Farm to Energy, but both are very human resource intensive and very capital intensive startups, and they're not able to solve this problem of stubble burning very feasibly, and they charge a certain amount from farmers which they're not able to pay, because in India most of the farmers are marginalized farmers. So what makes us different and what makes our business model very unique? We have a very practical and scalable solution. Our solution focus on multi-community triangular benefiting farmers, ratpikers and society at large. Also, we have a first mover advantage. These kind of broom made up of paddy stubble are not currently available in the market, and also there is no big player in the market which gives us the opportunity to tap upon and establish ourselves as the business leader in the market. Also, there is a very large product market for these kind of products, so we have a very good scalability opportunity. If we talk about the total market size of the cleaning industry is rupees 4,500 crores, and out of that 55% of the total market belongs to the broom. So we have a very good large market to tap upon and capture. The graph in the center of the PPT depicts the estimated maximum revenue generating segment is the broom by the end of year 2022 out of the other segment in the cleaning industry. So we have a very good market opportunity to tap upon. If we talk about the SWOT analysis, we have a very good eco-friendly product and process that we will be following. All our products will be available at a very affordable price, and with a very low initial investment, we can generate a high revenue that shows our strength in the business model. But the low initial investment will not only a strength but also a weakness, because with that we will not be able to capture the large part of the market. Opportunities will be easy fund attractions from the government players and CSR activities, and first mover advantage is also a definitely great advantage to us and a large potential market that we can tap upon. The threat will be competition from already existing brands of plastic brooms and compost, and the risk of new entry will always be there. The market selection that we have identified is B2C and B2B. We will be generating 60% of the revenue from B2B sales and 40% from the B2C sales. The target of our business model is, the first target is the urban audience who have more awareness towards sustainability and green product. And for compost at the initial level, we are targeting farmers. Positioning will be affordably priced, durable and eco-friendly green products that we are selling in the market. The cost, now coming to the cost analysis, this cost is depicted on the basis of our on-ground research in the villages of Ravli and Surana, where we will be conducting our pilot project. For our pilot project, we will be taking 10 acre of land, and from that 10 acre of land, we can easily produce 20 tons of rice stubble. All the rice stubble that will be collected and segregated during the process cannot be converted into brooms. So from the non-useful part, we will be converted into compost. For brooms, we will be using 15 tons, and for compost, we will be using 5 tons. From 15 tons, we can approximately make 18,000 brooms.
Team, your time is up.
Just give me a sec. I'm just
yeah, please wind it up.
So the making cost will be in and around 30 to 90 rupees. Selling cost will be in and around 50 to 120, and total revenue generation in this segment will be on an average 15 lakh. And from compost, the making cost will be 40 and the selling cost will be 60. The revenue generation will be 4,95,000 in this segment. So taking all the operating cost into consideration, at the initial level, we have to make an investment of 10 lakh, from which we can generate a revenue of 20 lakh. So which shows the financial feasibility of our business model. The revenue model that we will be following, the transaction model, revenue stream will be brooms and compost, and the channels will be online, retail, and personal selling that we will be involving. That's all from my side. Now I open the floor for question, judges. And this is the financial projections. By the end of year 2026, we aim at making a huge impact and eradicating 20 lakh tons of pollution which is being generated by stubble burning, and generating a revenue of more than 5 billion in rupees. So that's also add up to the list of unicorns in the nation. So that's the thing. And it's a small video, 53 seconds. If the time permits, can I play this?
Sorry, you have to wind up your presentation now.
That's all from my side, judges. Now I open the floor for questions.
Hi, Shivam. First off, great energy and great presentation skills. I have a couple of questions. First one being that before getting into the sales side of things, which you really emphasized, I have no doubts that you'll be able to sell the broom. My question is, in getting or procuring the raw materials that you will require, which is convincing farmers to give off their land. Currently, they will, burn the whole crop and wait for 12 to 18 hours, and their job is done. Essentially, that's what it is. Now, if you have a rag picker who's doing the same job, it's going to take days at end to really get the same raw material from hectares and hectares of lands. So how do you propose to give out that value proposition to the farmer?
So from the farmer's perspective, how we are generating value to the farmers and convincing them, at the current level, farmers have to incur expense of 1,400 to 1,500 to burn a per acre of land. Burning a land is not a simple task of just lighting a matchstick and just burning the land. They have to collect a stubble at a point, because there's a fear of spreading the fire to the nearby farms. So what they have to do is they have to collect the stubble, make it at one place, and then burn a stubble. There's a man force is also applied to collect the stubble and that make it to the place and burn all of that, so that they will be saving that cost. Because associating with our business model, we will be doing all the things for the farmers. Farmers will not be incurring any cost. And as far as time is concerned, because they are in hurry to sow the next crop, that's why they are doing this issue of the stubble burning. So what we will be doing, we will be employing the large number of rag pickers per acre of land, so the process can be quick and efficient. And also we will be
No, Shivam. I think you're mistaken. They don't collect the stubble at one place and then burn it.
So,
It really costs them just a matchstick. So the farm is laying vacant. Generally, the farms are not connected to any part of their huts or places where they live. Farms are very far off. They actually light up a matchstick and put it there, and it's like burning the grass. Every summers the grass becomes dry here outside, even in the campus. We don't cut the grass first and then take it to some place and burn it. We just light a matchstick, and it kind of हिंदी में बोलते हैं आग सुलगती रहती है वो ऐसा. It's not like it bursts into flames.
And the only cost is to create a fire line around the periphery of the farmland that you are doing to prevent the spreading.
Yes, sir. So what you are talking about the large farmers of the country, because they have a very large farm, and in the center of the farm, if there is a one crop, there is no fear of spreading it to the other farm. But what I'm talking about the marginalized farmer, the same farmer.
Yes, so the marginalized farmers don't collect the stubble at one place and burn it. No, they don't do that. They simply light it. They simply take out a matchbox, light a matchstick, and put it there. That's all.
So that's I'm completely agreeing with what your point, but what I have seen, because in the farmers in UP, also in the villages that we have identified, they have sugarcane crops and they have other crops also.
Sugarcane is a very different thing. Please remember, sugarcane, the size of the plant is very, very high. The ones you're talking about, Haryana and Punjab, those are wheat, paddy, and paddy crops. Those are very small crops. You don't have to collect them at one place and then light them with a matchstick. You burn them on the field itself.
In the easy language, if I try to understand, after the sugarcane crop, normally what happens is like sugarcane is cut from the ground to just sell it into the market, and upper part of the crop is used to feed to the cattle. And after there are some leaves that remains in the ground that is being burned by the farmers.
Yes.
So that
Sugarcane के case में yes.
But sir, always there is a fear of spreading like fire to the farms. I have seen many cases because I myself belong to the farmers family, so I have seen that scenario and the practicality of the complete issue. So that's the thing. So that's why I'm seeing all this, because I have
Sugarcane में yes, I agree. What you're saying is correct. So since the plant is thick, it bursts into flames, right? The sugarcane, the remnant of the sugarcane, there's a chance that it will burst into flames when it dries up. It's more like wood. But the remnants of rice and paddy, they're just dry leaves. Those they burn it in the field itself. They don't collect it.
Yes sir, yes sir, but there is almost like chingari, the thoda sa matlab, there is always a fear of spread, so it need to be monitored.
They don't, Shivam, they don't. That is the biggest challenge. Otherwise, this problem would have been solved long back, right? There are governments at play here, and governments have tried convincing the farmers, educating them. They've imposed fine on them, right? And they've also given them incentive to collect it. But the farmers just don't get around collecting the stubble.
That's also the major.
Haryana, Punjab, especially where they grow wheat and paddy.
Yes, sir. That's the major issue, sir. Like they have to collect, like they do not want to collect it and like just sell it to and give it to the farmer, to the startups or the government agencies to convert into biomass. So that's also an issue. But it need to be monitored very, very carefully. And the data I am backing is the data by the Minister of Agriculture, sir. The amount that they are incurring on burning per acre of land. So it's that what I'm talking about. And I myself belong to the farmer family, so I know the practicality of the thing. That's why I'm saying all this.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, Shivam, let's look on the other part of the story where you are saying about the products that you are getting through compost. So if you can take me back to the cost structure.
Yes, sir.
Yes, on the cost analysis. So what logic are you applying in terms of the operational costs that will be involved? Because I see a lot of these human resources and other financial resources getting involved for the furnished product that you will be coming out. And so on the feasibility part of the operational metrics, you can say.
Yes, sir. The logic is all the operational cost we will be incurring in doing our pilot project. That we will be doing is taking all the cost into consideration. That is training and skill development, tech infrastructure, warehousing cost, transportation is also be a point of consideration that we need to be take into consideration, because we will be collecting the stubble and then transporting.
Let me understand your assumption on the HR or the human resource being involved into your practice of the broom making. Are you considering that you are going to skill the same population there in the village who do this work, or you are looking forward to build out another unit of people doing it? How do you see that?
So the skill development and training will be done in the warehousing. The employees will be come to the warehouse where the stubble will be converted into products that we will be selling under the brand name.
Will not that add to your cost of operations?
So that will add, but it will streamline the complete process, because these rack pickers is a very scattered kind of thing and they are not very organized. So we are organizing the complete process in a very structured manner so that things can be do in a very feasible and streamlined manner. And they're already skilled in the process of making these kind of products, but to just make it more efficient and appealable to the millennial and Gen Z consumers and the current consumers, basically we are doing it more skill development so that we can produce a high value product and give up better quality and durability product to the consumer.
For your information, the brooms made of rice husk are already available. It's not first time. Certain pilots already been done, and there are serious challenges on the consumability front also, because it's quite different from the bamboo brooms or other materials that they are made up of. So I would also like to understand a little on how are you looking into the sellability front of these products?
So saleability or scalability we are talking?
Saleability.
Scalability. So basically at the initial level, there is a very huge market for these kind of project. And also you talked about these, according to my research, so there is no player in the Indian market who is currently selling these kind of brooms. There may be a one or two small player who have just recently launched the program or something like that, but there is no big player in the market like other kind of brands. So we have that opportunity, and we are very soon going to launch and establish ourselves. When so they might be in like seed process, and when we will be in very big stage in the coming years to come. So we have that opportunity to establish ourselves and move forward from already existing brands. So that's the thing. And also the market is like almost
So
marketed.
which all markets are you targeting first to enter in? How would you take your product through?
So basically, we are retail stores, and also we are thinking about B2B. The maximum 60% of the revenue generation we are thinking of from the B2B market, because the government agency, they are Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, and government is launching various schemes for the entrepreneurs, and they are very much open for these kind of green and sustainable products. So that's the market we are tap upon. And B2C at the initial level is very difficult market to rupture and penetrate. So that's why we are thinking about B2B as an easy access to establish ourselves, and the 40% of the revenue generation from B2C at an initial level from the retail stores and the online stores to capture to the whole market. And at the year of
challenge, the positioning of such a product and the entire process, as was discussed, is a challenge for you. But I see this product having some kind of more of a social impact.
Yes,
so
sir, definitely.
getting into the feasibility part of a commercializing product, you should look into the social innovation front first, and once it holds ground, probably you can enter into different markets.
Yes, sir. So from the consumer perspective, we are not giving the normal product to the consumers. We are giving a very valuable product from the already existing alternatives that are available in the market. We have three major pointers. One is the cost effectiveness of our product. Our product is available at a very competitive price in comparison to the already existing brands that are available in the market. And also the rice stubble is very durable. It is more durable than the plastic broom. So durability is also will not be an issue to the consumers. Our product is more durable than the already existing products that are available in the market. The normal broom goes from 4 weeks to 6 weeks, and in comparison our brooms goes from 7 to 8 weeks. So that's also a durability factor that we are giving to the consumers. And also by buying our product, the consumer will be getting a satisfaction of providing sustainable
Okay,
life.
Shivam, I think
we've agreed to that.
don't get carried away.
Yeah, just add to one what Durgaji mentioned was a suggestion from my side is that think about considering and making this into a partners in profit model with the farmers to get them into place. While the selling aspect, I think you've done some good work, and there is a good demand from the government side as well for such products.
Yes.
And tap into the CSR budgets of large organizations, because this whole storyline that you've presented, it's a powerful concept. It's the need of the hour. And I loved it that your KPI at the end was reduction in pollution and not, just revenues. So try to take it through that angle. That could be a possible way to, scale this up.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Shivam.
Any more questions, judges?
That's all.
So I definitely like to connect with all the judges after the event for more information.
Sure. So, yes, organizers, where do we go from here?
So we have one more team. So
we have
team
one more
Archers. Yes, sir. Team Archers, are you ready?
But their name is not there, right? In the list?
It's there. It's the last one.
Archers.
Yeah, so is everyone from the team here?
Yes, guys.
Yeah, please start the presentation.
Yeah, just want to make sure if my screen is visible.
Drumel, it is not visible yet.
Okay, now is it visible?
Yes, now we can see.
Yeah.
So shall we start?
Yes, please.
Okay, yes. So first of all, a very good afternoon to all the panelists and the team of Pitch Perfect for providing us with this opportunity to present our idea. Our idea is called Farm Test, and Farm Test is what we are trying to do with farming. We are trying to make every farmer a data scientist. We'll look at how. Drumal? Yes. So India is predominantly an agricultural country. Our primary occupation consists a lot of agriculture, but we are facing a lot of issues with agriculture, such as we have low productivity KPIs. Our productivity KPIs in comparison to our peer nations is very low. That is, the yield rate of produce per unit of land is comparatively quite low as compared to other countries like USA, China, and Brazil. And also we can see that the yield rate is not growing at a rate of the other countries like USA, China, and Brazil. So why is this happening is because farming is inherently uncertain. There are a lot of uncertain factors involved, and we are not able to use the technology in a way which the other countries are using, majorly because of marginalization of farming. Now, as you could see, there are a lot of questions cropping up in the box of uncertainty. Now, as a small farmer, I'd like to present to you a statistic, which is one of the very scary statistics, that in India currently, 15 farmers are committing suicide every day. Considering that India is primarily an agricultural nation, this is a very big number. Why this is happening is, I'll take you to the cycle of a small farmer. The cycle of a small farmer is that due to low produce, a farmer takes loan, mortgaging his land. Now, the lender is taking the land as security and providing him with this loan. The farmer, because of this low produce, is unable to pay back the loan, and the burden of debt keeps on rising. And after a point of it, the debt rises so much that the farmer knows that he won't be able to pay back the loan. That is when he tries and thinks of committing suicide. Now, what the Farm Test product will do is, it will bridge this gap between the creditors and the farmers, or the farmers and the lenders, by providing the lender the correct data about how the farm produce of a particular farmer is and how much he can pay back. And the farmer will also be able to understand that how much loan can he take on the basis of his land available. Now, I'll take you to what actually is the Farm Test product. Farm Test is very simple plug and play monitoring device, which is backed up with a software. Farm Test consists of a device which will be planted in a farm. We could say it could be planted in a farm with a lot of sensors inbuilt in it, and through the backup of cloud and IoT services, it will leverage the sensors to produce real-time and dynamic data. Now, it will have a machine learning and AI model which will continuously keep on improving as and when the data assimilates. And after a point in time, we could be having a very high rate of accuracy. Now, what this accuracy rate will do is, it will help all the stakeholders, including the lenders, the farmers, as well as the governments, and it will help them also to provide a credit underwriting services wherein the lenders will be able to gauge data right through their remote stations. Now, the multiple sensing devices will include sensors that have soil quality sensors, weather sensors, and moisture content of the soil, and various such other sensors that could be required in a farming to increase their yield. Also, there is a two-way relay system that we are trying to implant, wherein a farmer can use the relay system to remotely access the machinery and equipment at his farm, and in that way he could save his time, as well as he could better the facilities at the farm. I would like Himanshu to take this forward now.
Thanks, Ram. So what exactly goes behind the farm test? So it starts with data assimilation, where all kind of information related to farming, such as meteorological data and moisture content of soil, market prices of commodities such as seeds, pesticides will be captured. After the data will be processed, and the best ML algorithm for the forecasting would be set on. The basis of the information related will be the seedings, and also we will tie up with the B2B companies to get lower price of commodities in the equation. And then there will be a data feedback mechanism in place so that a robust and accurate ML model could be benchmarked. So what are the direct benefits to the farmers? So there will be personalized reports and alert for microclimatic forecast by the geographical region so that farmers could prepare accordingly. And disease and pest prediction also will be there. Irrigation control would help them use resources efficiently. These all features will be highly personalized. Next slide, please. Yeah. So now I'm talking about the problem that lenders or lending institutions face while issuing credit to farmers. So why lending institutions are reluctant to cater to small farm holders? The reasons are higher number of defaults, which in turn lead to higher NPAs, lack of risk mitigation channels, higher operational costs, and the bigger problem is lack of accurate data on which banks and NBFCs could rely on to make lending decisions. So how FarmTest would help us tackling this challenge? The FarmTest would be a building machine learning model leveraging satellite image processing, which in turn help forecasting higher accurate farm yield. And that farm yield would help creditors generating a kind of agri credit score, just like a CIBIL score for normal credit card, for farmers for their farmlands, on which banks and NBFCs can make their credit decisions. So for small farmers, they will not get trapped into debt cycle, that is, they would get good margins. This will also profit both the NBFC and governments. As for NBFCs and banks, they can have agricultural credit risk assessment by the region, and there can be better optimization of loan disbursement process. Same goes to government institution. Government can leverage data to make better insurance and underwriting credit plan, and can also conduct crop cutting experiment at the same time monitor yield index. These all will be the dynamic data based on dynamic data. As you can see in the middle of the slide, we have shown the dashboard of this FarmTest. So just like there will be a report and there will be a total area, this will be gone to the farmers and also provided to the creditors. Now Dhumal will take over to the financials and marketing strategy for the moment.
Thank you, Himanshu. So I'll be talking about the business plan and implementation of FarmTest. So our initial target customers would be government agencies, agribusinesses, HNI farmers, agri-banks, and other agri-cooperatives. We'll be implementing a realistic three-step plan, wherein first and foremost being using grassroots campaigns, advocacy efforts to build stakeholder commitment throughout the value chain, which will be followed by quantifying the marketing evidence for underlying intervention. And finally, we'll be promoting our products and services, which will enable the transfer of knowledge at various levels and increase adoption through rollout of appropriate incentive mechanism. So our marketing plan will be followed by launching a beta version at very grassroots level or panchayat level, where we will be increasing the awareness about how farmer can be benefit from FarmTest on the basis of KPIs like productivity, higher yield, and a percentage of conversion of loan, and they will not end up into NPA or a debt cycle. We'll be also onboarding agri promoting bodies like FICCI, APIDA, NABARD for promoting our products and services. We'll be using multiple marketing techniques, be it ATL or BTL in trade fairs like FarmTech Asia, Kishan Udyog Expo, which will help us enable onboard multiple farmers, and we'll be also providing incentives to them so that the acceptability of our product will increase. Now coming to our implementation plan, as you can see, the first few months would be required for groundwork research on farm.
Team, your time is up. Please wind up your presentation.
Yeah, just last few seconds, which will be followed by launch of pilot project and planning with government agencies, which will be followed by product development on a large scale, and the marketing initiatives will work in parallel with the launch of pilot project and groundwork research. Now coming to financials, we have estimated our growth of 10% YOY, wherein we have considered a CAGR of 10%, while the profits have been discounted at 7%. Based on this model, we are getting a return on investment of 12.5% and IRR to be 9.95%. Now coming to valuation part, we have been valuing the company at we saw the peer group which are being listed in foreign nationals such as Crop and Technology. So we find the price to earning multiples to be nearly 25, by which we are getting the
Team, you can stop presenting now.
At 125 crore. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So the stage is open for Q&A now.
Good presentation. Few questions. One is the AI/ML model ready with you, or that is still to be developed?
Yeah, can I answer the team? So yes, sir. So we have used 3 data sets. Basically, we have also implemented a small prototype, you can say, wherein we have taken 3 contents such as moisture content of the soil, NPK measurements, and the weather requirement. So based on these 3 data, we have collected data points of up to 10,000 with 3 parameters only. While we are also working on adding multiple data, I was also a part of team Nerex Technology, wherein I along with my group, we had implemented the soil moisture sensor with basically 3 data, and we have created a data set,
Right.
and based on that we had developed a AI model.
And how many locations was this done?
Yeah, so it was done on 3 places, in Mehsana, Vadodara, and in Ahmedabad region. I basically belong
Got
to
it.
Gujarat, so these 3 places were taken.
Got it. So you took 3 data points and ran an algorithm which gave you some, which was able to predict what was going to happen in future. A
Yeah,
good
so
yield, a bad yield.
yeah, exactly. So what
Just
happened,
let me
like,
finish,
yeah,
Drumil, then
sorry.
you can start answering. So essentially, you've tested this out with 3 data points. Now you're saying that we have 8 different sensors that we'll be putting in your soil. So we have 8 internal data points that you'll be generating for each farmer you tap. Plus, you're also integrating the external data points such as weather, your rainfall, all of that. And
Yeah,
then you'll put it in the algorithm, which will, if things go well, it will be able to predict the yield or predict the output. Now, my skepticism here is 2 things. One is that it's possible that you are betting on the AI ML model to work. It's possible that it might just be a garbage in, garbage out kind of a system, and you're not able to accurately predict it. So the valuation that you're asking, or if you go to an investor to ask for money on this, that's a big punt that that investor will be taking. The other thing is, this is a play on scale, purely on scale. The more data points you have, if this works, if someone's going to come in the market with a much larger scale, for example, ITC has good inroads into the Indian agri space. If they come up with the exact same model that you have at a 100x or 1000x scale, your model will not have anything proprietary to it, and it will just be beaten by pure scale. So those 2 are my apprehensions. Happy to hear your thoughts on that.
yeah,
Can I answer this, Arvind?
yeah, go
Sir,
ahead.
already, as you mentioned, just like ITC has already, they are using Desmos. So we are not beating or competing with the ITC. So we are just collecting the, just like you have already told, that we are taking the 3 data points. We know that all the 5 data points, which will predict the more average, our model right now, we are using random forest model. So accuracy we are getting around 60%, but ITC, Desmos, is getting 73%. But if we are collecting more data points, then definitely the model will be more accurate, and the feedback mechanism which we are putting right now, so will be around, it will go up to 80%. Already in Germany, they have already implemented this thing, and they are getting around 80 to 82%. But India, there is no company which is doing this in a integrated manner. So that's why we are collecting more data points. First answer. And second question, to answer the second question, that how will we pitching the this thing to the investor? So we are not giving the these services to farmers, because farmers won't be understanding the data science and all. So we are just pitching to the banks, because banks do not know how much farmers are going to earn in the future, and also farmers do not know that how much they are going to earn in their land. So is there any, because there is a very huge information gap. Sometimes banks give a lot amount of more loans to the farmers and end up getting the getting up the NPAs to their balance sheet. That's how we are pitching that we are giving you the accurate data. On this, you can rely and you can make your loan decisions. So that's, we are doing the, you can say, consulting services to the bank. That is, we are doing.
Understood. Himanshu, to your answer, I agree with what you're saying. Just one feedback from my side would be that the output of this cannot be just one additional data point for a bank to give out their loan or not, because this is a very mature industry. It's been happening since the last 100 years. If a farmer has good paperwork, he'll go to a bank. If he doesn't have good paperwork, he'll go to an NBFC. If he has no paperwork, he'll go to a local money lender. So it's been happening. There is there's a pattern of people who have been borrowing money, and there's a pattern of people who've been giving out loans. So why don't you explore the possibility of taking this product to help improve the yield of farmers, since you will be having so many data points?
If allowed, may I take this? Yeah. So, sir, in the case that you mentioned that this has been happening since long, but what has been happening is, like, a bank values a farm on the basis of the area of land and what is the current, the price of land in that particular area. It is a very static model. What we are trying to pursue to the bank is that use the dynamic data model, wherein you can get the information about how much you could yield going forward.
I agree.
Not only,
I agree.
only on the basis of land. And yes. So may I continue?
Go on. Yeah.
Yes, sir. So that is one major point. And the second point is that whenever we, you could say, due to this dynamic model, what we are trying to pursue towards the bank is that don't look at it from the point of view of, you could say, a farmer not getting the required information. What we are trying to pursue to them is that we are providing the information to the farmer via a real-time data access, wherein they will get the alerts and recommendations on what to do with their land at the current moment. Like if there is a certain amount of rainfall, then the amount of irrigation required will be lessened. If there is a certain amount of fertilizer used, the amount of the other fertilizer should be this much. So we are trying to put in all of that information, and that is what we are trying to pursue to the banks also, that we are trying to provide this information to the farmers to increase the yield. That is how we are trying to meet the need gap.
Got it done. Thank you. This answers me.
Yes.
So team, really liked the kind of initiative you are trying to integrate into, but at the same time, see, agriculture space is also getting a little more multimodal in its approach. Earlier, it was more streamlined through various channels, established channels from a very long period of time. So the kind of intervention you are trying to pushing into will have again its own repercussions through various sectors that you are trying to integrate into. So the basic challenge that I see in the financial feasibility part, if you can get into that slide, just a slide back, I believe. Yeah. So the major concern comes with the valuation part, which you are pegging at. Because I see eventually your financials, the growth, the entire 24-month plan that you are speaking about, and the implementation is going to be really tough if your business has to initiate from the government foreground. So what I would like to understand about your market penetrability approach, and how you are trying to implement this if a pilot has already been tested, but that is somehow answered in a way that you have replied to Kavin. So I would like to understand more on your 24-month plan that you are stating out to achieve these financials that you are pegging at.
Yes, sir. I want to answer the question. So coming to market penetrability, Indian government is now on a pace to move towards digitalization of each and every sector. Indian government has also launched NEGP, a National E-Governance Plan in agriculture. So I just want to quote that government is asking various startups. They are inquisitive about, like, they really want to get into digitalization part, which I can't say that they are lacking. But if I look at Karnataka and Andhra Pradesh or Telangana, these three states are so much actively participating in digitalization of each and every sector. So our market penetrability would be first targeting towards the states which are which are very prone to adapt to digitalization, such as Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, or Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. And following our approach in this state, will be moving ahead with coming to northern states like Gujarat or Madhya Pradesh or Maharashtra, and post which we would be targeting, like we will be having a pure play result, based on which we'll be targeting the other states such as UP, Bihar, and post which we will be expanding our plan to pan India. I hope I answered the question.
So who's your paying customer here?
Yeah. So our paying customer would be government banks, governments and HNI farmers, basically.
So have you make a breakthrough with them, whether the numbers that you are paying at, whether they are opting for such kind of solutions at the cost of these numbers? Because you see your growth multiple, I won't challenge it looking into the kind of sector that you are trying to explore, but the numbers you are beginning with are quite voluptuous. So that raises a concern there. So absolutely speaking about the IRR and ROI, this seems to me a little superfluous. But if you have a logic to share, I would take these numbers.
Yes, sir. So like I have also worked with EDI, It's Entrepreneurship Development Institute in Gandhinagar.
Know
So
that.
we have partnered with multiple government channels in Gujarat also, like I mentioned, we're in the pilot project. So government is persuading us to, go full-fledged with we have also received a grant of 5 lakh. So government is also providing us support. There are multiple players, but right now we do not have the data. So right now we are mainly focusing our stance into getting a lot of data, and after that tying up with government banks or NBFCs or agri insurance businesses. So like the current need for our startup would be getting more and more data. Like as you can see, there is also just one sec. I'm sorry. Yeah, so there is also data required from a satellite point of view. Okay, so we do not have infrastructure. So currently we would be expanding our infrastructure, post which we have a lot of data, and based on the data we'll be proceeding to banks and all those. Like this has been already implemented on a very small scale basis. Like I told you, a very small scale pilot project has also been led, and we like we already provided the support to farmers, based on which we had identified the yield rate and all that. So we had saw drastically increase in yield rate. Like I just want to make sure to you that it's totally implementable, but right now what we need is the data.
And to generate the data, you will have a fixed cost coming through the asset management that would be in place. So what are your plans to breach that? Where do you see a break even or a saturation coming in your revenue plans? So what are you seeing your saturation achieving it, or a break even coming down?
Sir, I cannot comment right now. It will depend on what kind of implementation rate it will be after launching on a full phase plan. So based on that, I can tell
How
you.
big you would like to
But
start?
Sorry, sir, I couldn't get you.
How big would you like to start with?
Yeah, so sir, to answer your question, like I told you, after assimilation of data and processing the data into actual standards, suppose that it will take 5 to 6 years. I'm just approximating right now. Post which it will take approximately 5 to 6 years. If I answer the question, that's just an approximation right now.
Well, the periodic data that you would like to understand and like to formulate are quite for a more longer period. So there will be an intensiveness achieving very, very longer timeline. But it's good to see that you are doing something on this. But let me tell you, the agriculture sector is very large, and we still continue to be an agrarian economy. And the biggest challenge is that we want the agriculture or the farmers to get attached to this entire digitalization run. At the same time, we are having people who are capable of understanding within the farming community coming out of it for various other reasons. So this breakdown is a little challenging one. I have no more questions for this. Thank you.
I have just one question. So these sensors that you are proposing, you will dig them into ground. Are they capable of assessing the NPK of the soil? I don't think so, because assessing NPK is a chemical process. You have to take a sample to the lab and then assess it in the lab.
Yes, sir.
I don't think there's a sensor which can do this, at least not to the best of my knowledge. I've worked quite a bit with agri sectors. That's why I'm saying this.
Sir, actually there are sensors. Like we have also used one of them from, I think it was from leader.io website. So they are selling such kind of sensors, but yeah, the question of their accuracy still remains a stand. So we'll be also developing, if chance permits us, we'll be developing with more accuracy.
No, so to assess and map the NPK status of different farmlands, government has a very comprehensive scheme of issuing soil cards, where samples are taken by volunteers, from different, even my previous institute, GIM students used to collect samples from farms, right? And they would send it to labs, and the lab would take typically a week or so to issue something called a soil card, right?
Yeah.
But to answer that thing, sir, government do that not a very dynamic manner. They do it like for a 6 months period, or maybe one crop cycles is over.
Soil
Then after
card
that,
doesn't. I mean, the NPK status doesn't change overnight. It doesn't change
yes,
in a
sir.
week.
But not
It
it doesn't
changes
change. But in a week,
after several crops. After several years, the NPK. If you grow the same crop over and over again, right? You don't rotate your crops. So if you're growing paddy all the time and you don't replace it or you don't rotate it with say legumes, that is when the soil the NPK status deteriorates, and it happens
yes,
over a period of year. It doesn't change every fortnight.
but also over irrigation or maybe more rainfalls can change NPK a bit. So sometimes yield rate can change because of that. So that's why we need that dynamic data. Sometimes farmers do over irrigation and that deteriorates the soil quality. So that
Not
is why
just
we
over
are taking
irrigation. What is the fertilizer that our farmers use? It's a very standard one size fits all fertilizer, which has NPK in a fixed ratio. So irrespective of what the soil's requirement are, it's just sprayed, right? So I don't. So many of these things. What is this penetrometer?
Sir, yeah, sir. So to answer the question, the penetrometer is the pressure measuring instrument. And sir, to answer your question, like there are multiple parameters which are included, which determine the yield rate. It's not only NPK, but there are also multiple others. So if we just make a permutation and combination, even if one factor changes and all the factor remains same, there will be there might be a drastic change in the yield rate. So it's not about a single parameter.
That's true, but NPK is one of the important factors apart from irrigation. So I mean, there are a lot of places where irrigation facilities are not adequate, so they don't get adequate water to grow plants. Right. Apart from irrigation, NPK is these two are the major factors which influence your yield.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have one last statement to make before we break, and I ask the organizers what has to be done. All of the teams which are involved with agri sector, so Archers, Uncharted, and Shivam, right? I have a small offer for you. I know quite a few people in this agri business sector. They're very senior people in ICAR, right? So if you want me to connect you to them and you feel it will be of some help to you, please write to me separately. I'll connect you to these people, right?
Sure,
ICAR. I hope all of you, know about ICAR, right?
Definitely, sir. It
Yeah.
would be a great help, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So let me know. I will connect you to them, right? Okay. Organizers, what has to be done next?
Yes, sir. I would like to give a thank you note. On behalf of Consulting and Entrepreneurship Club, I thank Mr. Kevin Desai, Mr. Durga Prasad Gowda, and Professor Jagrup Gowda, sir, for facilitating the event by taking out their valuable time to judge, provide insights, and for making Pitch Perfect 2022 a successful one. I hope you all had an amazing interaction with teams. I thank all the finalists for their active participation and hope that they will admire the insights given by our honorable judges and work on it for improving your idea and make it happen. I also thank my team for their coordination and hard work, without whom it would be difficult to conduct such a big event in a smooth manner. On a concluding note, the team and IIM Raipur is obliged to have such esteemed judges and would like to connect with Mr. Kevin and Mr. Durga Prasad in person anytime in future. Now, I would like all the participants to